When he rubs his sore eyes and sits up in a daze, a harsh cough still scraping his throat. His surroundings consist of a tiny thatched hut only a few square meters wide, looking just like a toilet stall featuring a slowly burning bonfire smack in the middle of the floor. Outside, the wind howls, and the darkness is so absolute he cannot even see his own hand. He really should be fast asleep in his school dorm room right now, and yet here he is. Is this a prank, a kidnapping, or something much worse? Wild theories flood his mind, but before he can unpack any of them, a chilling voice echoes directly inside his head. Welcome, survivor, to the absolute horror of the dark world. To stay alive, he must remember several crucial precautions. Unknown dangers lurk in the shadows, and keeping his bonfire lit is the only way to avoid attacks. The threat level drops significantly during the day, meaning he must cherish those fleeting daylight hours to explore and gather as many vital resources as possible. This flimsy shelter is his only real foundation to survive in this dark world, and he absolutely must upgrade it as quickly as possible. The survival manual holds key functions, so he needs to study and protect it well. A random natural disaster strikes every single month, so he must stay highly alert. And finally, good luck only favors those who fight to survive. The voice cuts off as quickly as it began, but he knows this is no dream or crazy illusion. A freezing draft seeps through the cracks, making him shiver as he inhales the icy air. He quickly pulls his jacket tight and edges closer to the fire, crouching down to rub his hands. The heat slowly thaws his frozen thoughts, letting him think again. But wait, the indoor temperature in the middle of July is absolutely freezing. If he were still back home, this extreme chill would only exist up north. To be teleported here instantly, with a voice speaking directly into his mind, is completely impossible. With any human tech, he has clearly been dragged into a massive, inexplicable event. But since there is no escape, he might as well try to make the best of it. As a modern college student who read way too many web novels, he adapts fast. This whole transmigration thing is actually easier for him to accept than most people. Taking a deep breath of smoky air, he stands up and looks around the hut. For that survival manual, a space this tiny cannot hide anything for long. And soon he spots a black handbook in the corner, right next to a worn stone axe. The cover reads Survival Manual in bold letters, and the second he stares at it, a flood of information rushes directly into his brain, explaining how it works. This manual controls all the key features of the dark world, meaning if it gets damaged, his entire shelter will suffer the exact same damage. So this book is the core of his survival. If his base collapses, brutal freezing temperatures will definitely end him long before any monster even tries. His expression turns grim as he carefully opens the mysterious leather-like cover. The heavy pages feel like animal hide, listing those 6 rules right on the front. The first page logs the current weather: heavy fog, strong winds, and an outdoor temperature of -7.1 degrees, with 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 35 seconds of night remaining. This leather paper updates in real time like a tablet screen, which is deeply unsettling. Still, since transmigration is already real, he decides to accept any other crazy magic. He flips to the chat channel, split into world, regional, and friend categories. The world count is over 8 billion, but it is dropping by hundreds of thousands. Second, as he watches, the region channel is locked at exactly 10,000 out of over 8 billion. That is the entire population of Blue Star, meaning everyone has transmigrated here. How the elderly, the sick, and the disabled will survive here is a terrifying thought. He lived alone after his grandfather passed, so he does not have to worry about missing relatives. There are no far-off relatives to worry about. He opens up the world channel next. He instantly drowns in scrolling messages, moving way too fast to read. He switches to the regional channel instead. Help, someone writes, I think I have been kidnapped. Can someone call the police? Another replies that they are a cop from America and want help too. People are losing their minds over the survival manual. What kind of dark tech is this? Did they all transmigrate, or are they just lab rats in some twisted cosmic experiment? The chat mentions the counter. Did all 8 billion people from Blue Star really make it? Panicked voices call out for lost parents, but 8 billion people are now split up. They are divided into regions of 10,000. Finding a familiar face is nearly impossible. Some try to make alliances, hoping that being in the same region means they are close. They want to meet up, but others quickly shoot that down. Leaving shelter is pure suicide. One guy begs for clothes, crying out that he will freeze to death in his sleep. The chat is ruthless, telling him he is on his own in this freezing hell. Then, a shift. A panicked message cuts in. A guy hears wolves nearby and asks about the bonfires. He says he just opened his door to check, and a sudden wind blew out his flame. Suddenly, the messages turn to pure terror. He is screaming at something to stay back. Then dead silence. Others desperately try to message him, asking if he is okay. But the regional counter answers for him, clicking down from 10,000 to 9,999. A heavy silence drops over the chat. You can literally feel the absolute terror. Finally, someone types a warning. The bonfire must not go out under any circumstance. Gather wood the second it gets light. Everyone now understands the horror of this world. He looks at his own crackling bonfire, his heart hammering against his chest. He reads in absolute silence for a while longer before flipping to the next page. Page 3 is the trade channel, completely blank because nobody has anything to sell yet. Page 4 shows the upgrade system, starting with his level 1 thatched hut. It requires 100 units of wood and 20 units of stone to upgrade. This drafty shelter is just the lowest tier, and upgrading unlocks new features. Every page after that remains blank. Right now, the manual has only 4 functions: environment, chat, trade, and upgrade, but there is clearly more to come. Those locked pages are definitely not for a diary. He slowly closes the book. He flips back to study those 6 survival warnings one last time. Danger drops during the day, and he only has 2 hours of darkness left. He needs to rest and prepare, because any mistake could mean his death. Sitting cross-legged by the fire, he forces himself into a light, uneasy doze. He drifts in and out of sleep, never trusting the shadows enough to rest. With 20 minutes left of the night, he jolts awake, slaps his face, and stands up. He starts performing basic student gymnastics to warm his freezing body. He is not exactly a physical powerhouse, but he knows stretching prevents injury. Getting active inside the shelter means he will not waste a single second of daylight. By the closing jumps, the morning chill finally begins to fade away. He feels a steady, warm current easing through his body, less than 10 minutes of. Night remain, he picks up the worn stone axe, weighing it with a light swing. The manual identifies this tool as a rankless axe made of ordinary quartzite, meant for chopping firewood, though it can double as a desperate weapon in a pinch. According to the survival handbook, item rarity ranges from black iron, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum up to legendary and mythical, 8 ranks total, and what he holds does not even reach black iron. Speechless, he silently wonders how many heavy swings it will take. Suddenly, the night ends and daylight descends. The system updates to sunny weather, 5.5 outside and 11.3 indoors. 8 hours of daylight remain. The temperature jump from freezing outdoors to a positive single digit is welcome, and the indoor bonfire makes the comfort real, but 8 hours is not much daylight to plan resource runs. Exploration or a safe return. Cherish the short day, the guide warned, and honestly, it makes total sense now. Across this dark world, everyone is rushing out of their shelters. 8 hours is incredibly short, and he does not know if the cycle changes later. He does not rush out just yet. Instead, he cautiously monitors the chat to see if anyone has hit immediate danger. On their way, someone brags about holding out in an outhouse all night, shouting, "Let us go, brothers." Another claims he plays building games, calling this his absolute home turf. Someone else marvels at the beautiful jungle and fresh air, calling it paradise. Nobody reports any real danger. He grabs his stone axe, pushing the curtain of his shelter aside and stepping out. Dew clings to the fresh grass blades, glistening as birds and insects chirp softly through the foreign trees and shrubs. This peaceful scene only makes him grip the worn axe tighter. Whatever mysterious entity dragged humanity here from Blue Star did not do it out of kindness. Think about it, nobody kidnaps a planet for a relaxing vacation. The manual warns that daytime means reduced danger, not zero danger, and overnight the regional counter fell to 9,982. Over a dozen lives lost in one night. Time to move. He cautiously steps into the deep unknown. Others are already out harvesting. And after his first swing, the regional channel explodes. Even the building game enthusiast gets incredibly real. A flimsy 10-centimeter sapling feels harder than rock. How can he gather 100 wood units for a shelter upgrade at this miserable rate? A physical laborer laughs, explaining that even he can only fell one tree in 5 minutes for 1 unit of wood, and even he needs rest. This day is going to be brutal. Someone begging for half a unit is called an idiot and told to go chop, reminding them how those other people died. Someone else offers private photos for food and wood, getting branded an online beggar before sliding into a private chat. Get to work, the channel warns, because no fire means certain death. He closes it. 30 meters from his shelter, he finds a birch forest, selects a thinner sapling and swings. The heavy recoil and tiny, shallow notch left on the bark tell him everything he needs to know. Adjusting his stance, he aims for that same notch, chopping with all his strength. 8 minutes later, the sapling falls, giving him 1 unit of wood. He does not rush to grab it, resting his aching arm. Do the math. A strong adult gathering 1 unit every 5 minutes only manages 96 in 8 hours. That is with 0 breaks, and needing food and rest cuts that down. 60 units is excellent. Factor in nightly bonfire consumption, and gathering 100 units takes forever. It takes at least 2 full days. His part-time jobs kept him in decent shape, luckily. He is fitter than average, but he is no laborer. Without better tools, he is stuck. He is looking at 30 to 40 units a day max, so he does not rush to join the labor force. Any gamer knows exploring beats mindless grinding on a fresh map. Sure, this is not actually a video game, but mapping out his surroundings is still smart. Clearing dangers around his shelter first will make future resource gathering much safer. Gripping his worn-out axe, he heads east toward the rising sun, pushing through dense brush. He watches closely for danger, but trekking like this completely drains his stamina. It is much tougher than flat ground. 15 minutes later, and 300 meters from safety, a pitch-black region looms directly ahead, with chilling, distant howls echoing from within. The terrifying sounds make the hair on his neck stand up. The boundary is incredibly narrow. Yet it feels like another world entirely, something completely unnatural. Facing the darkness, he wisely stops. His current safe zone still has plenty to offer. There is absolutely no reason to risk his life just yet. Looking to his side, he sees the dark border circling his shelter, completely surrounding his safe little zone. For now, his sandbox is only 300 meters. Will leveling up his shelter expand it? He has no idea yet. Starving and dehydrated after a sleepless night, he turns around. He scans the area for wild fruit, and wait, what is that glittering in the weeds? It is right there in the weeds by the dark border. Parting them reveals a chest. The wooden chest is hidden in the shadows, its metal clasp reflecting the morning rays. His handbook identifies it as a black iron chest, 60% chance of common loot. 30% black iron, 10% bronze. The basic guide never mentioned these treasures. This is brand new information. Still, the drop rates are pretty stingy, and his luck. Well, let's just say he has never been lucky, but the mystery box is incredibly tempting. It is way more tempting than gold to a starving man. He drags it out and opens it. 3 items instantly materialize. First is a canned, unranked fermented herring. Apparently, it is an incredible delicacy for certain strange creatures. Next is a bottle of plain spring water, unranked but perfect for his parched throat. Finally, a black iron blueprint for making a small water bucket. Learning it unlocks the recipe. It costs 3 units of wood to craft. It makes a 10-liter bucket. 10 liters is a huge upgrade for carrying water. Remembering streamers gagging on that herring, he decides it is strictly for trading. Eating it would do way more harm than good. Instead, he grabs the fresh water. That water is exactly what he needs right now, so he unscrews it for a sip. Even though the system warned it is plain, his dry mouth loves it. It tastes sweeter than any fancy drink he has had in his entire life. But the blueprint hits hardest. In this dark world, crafting absolutely requires them. Handcrafting takes too long, and the quality is completely unreliable. Bucket is universal, and 8 billion transmigrants make for an incredibly massive market. This item is a literal cash cow, easily worth more than generic high-grade gear. He is definitely keeping this. He uses the blueprint, learning the skill instantly. Notification pops up confirming he has fully mastered the recipe. If black iron yields this much, what about bronze or gold? He reins his daydreams in. His territory spans 300 meters across, roughly 280,000 square meters. Finding a basketball-sized chest in an area that huge is like hunting for a needle in a haystack. It takes extreme luck. Still, he spends an hour sweeping the entire boundary. He finds only an open-air stone quarry to the west. No chests, no food, just emptiness. The only plus to this barren wasteland is the lack of beasts, with no chests in sight. He sticks to his original plan, sweating through the birch grove to gather 3 units of wood. Crafting a single bucket takes 10 minutes. He initially assumed it would be instant. But the math is simple. Chopping 1 unit of wood takes 10 minutes, including rest breaks. A single bucket costs 3 units of wood, plus another 10 minutes of active crafting. If he can sell them for 4 units of wood, anything above that is pure profit. With such a heavy crafting bottleneck, supply will easily fall behind demand. These buckets won't be cheap, so he decides to list them tonight when everyone heads inside. Over the next few hours, he gathers wood, crafts buckets, and saves fuel for a bonfire. The work is brutal. 6 hours later, the sky darkens with barely 30 minutes left before night. He manages to stockpile 7 finished buckets and 12 loose units of wood. His muscles are incredibly stiff and sore, just as he is about to walk back. Another tree crashes down. Right there in the open sits a chest glowing with a dark green luster. Another chest. He rubs his eyes, wondering if extreme exhaustion is making him hallucinate. But it is still there, a gorgeous sight that instantly washes away all his physical fatigue. He sprints over. His handbook identifies it as a bronze-grade treasure chest. The rates are 20% unranked, 40% iron, 30% bronze, and 10% silver. A broken branch wedged in its side reveals it fell from the birch tree he just chopped. It was hidden perfectly in the leaves, the dark green metallic surface blending right in. Without the sun hitting it directly, he never would have spotted it, even after 10 searches. From now on, he reminds himself to keep his eyes on more than just the ground. Always look up. He pops the latch, and 4 distinct items materialize before him. That is 1 more than the black iron chest, meaning bronze grade offers better loot pools. The first item is long, dark, and incredibly solid, an unranked, rock-hard baguette. The description warns him to eat with caution. It can literally double as a weapon. He has not eaten in a full day, and tears prick his eyes at the sight of food. Usually he prefers rice or noodles, but beggars cannot be choosers. The second item is a lighter. It is unranked, plastic, with about 2/3 of its fuel left, bearing gold inscriptions. A tool of unusual origin, totally useless once drained, yet he holds it like a treasure. Even back on Earth, having a reliable fire source in the wild is absolutely critical. Out here it is life or death. He cannot exactly rub 2 sticks together for warmth. His morning fire died long ago, and facing the freezing night without light is a death sentence. The lighter might be unranked, but to him, it is worth more than any rare weapon. These first 2 items are extremely useful, yet he cannot help but feel a bit conflicted. This is a bronze chest, so he expected at least 1 actual bronze tier item. The third item delivers a genuine bronze axe, sharper and far more durable than stone. The system description jokingly asks if he dropped a bronze, silver, or golden axe. He gives it a couple of test swings, making the air whistle with clean power. His chopping speed should easily double now. That is the power of a bronze tool. He wants to rush back into the woods and fell 100 trees, but the sun is setting. He moves to the 4th item. The shock makes his bronze axe slip. It clatters straight to the floor. Before him is a slender-necked glass bottle, palm-sized and strange. Half-filled with a pale purple liquid, it shimmers eerily in the fading sunset. This is a Silver-Rank Mutation Fountain, sustainable too. Placed on the ground, it produces 100 milliliters of mutated water daily. Drinking this fluid triggers completely unknown mutations in any living creature. The effect depends entirely on the dosage. The description jokes about needing more hands. It tells him to join evolution. Pulling silver from bronze chests is rare. There is only a 10% chance, but he nailed it on his first attempt. He was already happy with the bronze items. This silver is amazing. Best of all, it is sustainable, which is worth more than any standard weapons. But that scary mutation warning makes him promise to never drink it himself. The terrifying thought of growing extra arms sends a cold shiver right down his spine. Even if he never uses it, it is perfect for trading with survivors. The system note says any living creature, meaning plants and beasts, also definitely count. Though what actually happens is a mystery. Suddenly, a cold wind hits him. He pulls his coat tight. The system screen shows only 21 minutes of daylight left. Gathering up his heavy gear, he races the sunset before making camp. He sparks his fire with the lighter and slowly thaws out. Night falls fast now. The pitch-black darkness swallows everything. Distant, terrifying howls echo through the wilderness. Surviving the night is far too dangerous, so he must return early. Safe near his fire, he exhales. Meanwhile, the chat is pure chaos. Some are begging for fire, even posting desperate selfies to get some help online. Others joke that they are hot enough already, but the cold is deadly. The temperature drops further. Panicked players cry out, begging for survival tips right away. They must upgrade shelters and find winter clothing. There are no other shortcuts. Rubbing sticks for fire simply does not work like on those popular television shows. No one here is a survival expert. Some sell flint for 10 wood pieces. It is first come, first served. Others call them shameless, greedy profiteers in chat. They argue they should help each other for free, but the sellers ignore them. It is take it or leave it, or let the freezing night claim them completely. The desperation is heavy, and the regional player count keeps ticking down. He silently congratulates himself on finding that lighter, because it truly saved his life. Without it, he would be paying a ridiculously high price for fire right now. Next, he looks at the Fountain of Mutation. It needs soil to function properly. But he will not leave a Silver-Rank item outside for beasts to steal. That would ruin everything. Instead, he decides to dig a small pit inside his cabin. Using his bronze axe, he carves a 30-centimeter deep hole right in the floor. He uncorks the bottle and pours the glowing purple liquid directly into the soil now. The system screen confirms the fountainhead is ready, bubbling with fresh energy. With the current reserve at 100 milliliters, he checks the market. But right as he goes to check prices, a massive global broadcast interrupts. A booming voice speaks, asking if they have truly fought to survive. All of their hard-earned resources will now be converted. They will receive special reward lottery wheels. Everyone gets at least one. These points are only used to calculate tiers, with Tier 1 requiring over 50 points and granting a black iron lottery wheel. Tier 2 needs more than 100, granting a bronze wheel, while Tier 3 needs over 200 and grants a silver wheel. Tier 4 requires over 500 points for a gold wheel. His breakdown is red next, with 30 units of basic resources worth 33 points. 4 no-grade items for 40 points, a black iron item for 20, and a bronze item for 50 points. With 293 points total, he earns a silver lottery wheel, a silver light flashes, and a palm-sized, worn silver-white compass slowly drops straight into his hand. Feeling the rough texture, his initial surprise turns to pure joy. The system manual's note about luck favoring the bold was clearly not an empty promise, delivering a tangible reward right into his hands on day 1. Doing some quick calculations, he realizes he cleared Tier 3 by 93 points. But the Tier 4 line requires 500. By this ratio, even 3 silver achievements would leave him 50 points short. He found a bronze and black iron chest in a single day and scored a silver, which is already an incredibly lucky outcome. Most people probably never even saw a black iron chest today. Still, he is still far from Tier 4. Do you think anyone will actually reach it? He shakes off the thought. He is already quite fortunate, and he is not close enough to the next tier to feel any regret. The players who fell just 1 or 2 points short are the ones losing sleep tonight. The global chat confirms this as rewards drop. Why did nobody warn us about quests? Someone complains. I chopped down trees for a measly 6 points and got 0 rewards. I demand compensation. You lazy dog, stop blaming the system because the weak die first. Hearing this, his sanity is shattered. Another player cries about scoring 99 points, just 1 off the tier. I have 51, exactly 1 over. Someone mocks. Can you borrow points? No, and you are just rubbing salt in the wound. Another gloats about getting 53. A third asks, big brother, how did you reach 99? I chopped wood until my axe smoked and only got 60. Oh, I just opened a black iron chest and those items gave bonus points. Chests, there are chests. Out here I missed a whole fortune chopping wood all day. From this chatter, he slowly filters out the genuinely useful information. The basic resource conversion rate for reward points is not the same for everyone. Some physically strong men got absolutely nothing for a unit of wood, while weaker women got 2 points or more for the exact same unit. This means anyone working hard enough to gather resources is at least guaranteed Tier 1. Tier 2 is rare and Tier 3 is much scarcer. He has not seen anyone in his brief scan of the chat admitting to it, let alone Tier 4, though it is entirely possible some are just playing dumb to grow stronger in secret. This daily settlement also confirms an obvious world rule. The system tracks progress daily per Survivor rewarding raw effort rather than just the final outcome, so even the most basic grinder can survive, but the catch is that skipping tiers requires items, and those items demand luck, which is finite. The poor players in chat who hit 99 and missed by a single point will surely lose sleep tonight. He is not one of them. The Silver Compass is a silver-rank lottery compass that randomly draws one single-use silver item. It was once the tool of a third-rate geomancer whose life later became a broken begging bowl. The joke here is that he wound up a beggar, truly a third-rate failure. A silver wheel hands him a silver item directly, meaning a gold wheel must grant a gold item, extremely overpowered, but silver is hard as bronze chests only have a 10%. Statistically, pulling a silver tier item from just 10 chests is a massive win. He probably just burned through a whole year of luck, but hey, use it early, enjoy it early. There are no discounts here. He triggers the wheel, and the pointer spins across fan-shaped grids. The wheel is etched with mysterious foreign characters, slowing down under his tense, anxious watch. It stops at 45 degrees clockwise. A bright silver flash reveals an old beast skin scroll. A strange purple eye is drawn on the front. This is the Silver-Rank Eye of Taming. It teaches him the namesake skill, slightly boosting his overall spiritual power limit. It allows him to tame any creatures that possess lower spiritual power than himself. The maximum number of beasts he can control scales directly with his mental strength. It adds a weird Chunabu warning, stating that weak beasts must submit or die. At 21 years old, he actually blushes a bit at the cheesy system text. But he quickly shakes it off. He is already getting used to these strange descriptions. Beast taming, just like the classic game class, this dark world clearly has actual magic. This is not just advanced biotechnology, while other things might be explained by science. A magical scroll cannot. The supernatural represents the unknown, which always brings danger. A sharp sense of urgency hits him. He has a solid head start right now. So he has to push harder. Only raw strength can protect him from unknown threats. In a magical world like this, maybe he can resurrect the dead. He thinks of his grandfather, hoping they might meet again, then tightly grips the scroll. It bursts into flames, driving a faint purple light into his left eye. Instantly, a pain like 1,000 hot needles strikes, and he drops to his knees. He screams in agony, desperate to gouge his own eye out until it finally stops. A system alert confirms that he has successfully learned the Silver-Rank Eye of Taming. He lies there drenched in cold sweat, his heart pounding with pure, lingering terror. That stupid scroll never warned him. From now on, he will only use them in a completely secure area. If a monster caught him mid-process, he would be dead. Luckily, he was inside his shelter. His mind feels incredibly sharp now, and he senses a strange new power in his left eye, as if he can dominate anything he sees. His left pupil has turned a faint, eerie purple, though he has not realized it yet. The eye can only tame beasts with weaker mental energy than his own. Since spiritual power is tied to the brain, any failure could completely ruin his mind. He has to be extremely careful, and he cannot test it in this empty shelter anyway. Honestly, stepping outside into the pitch-black night right now is just pure suicide. He decides to skip the testing for now and goes over to get his baguette. He plans to eat a quick meal before listing some trade items, but his heart stops. Inside the chest is a massive swarm of giant, soybean-sized black ants. Armed with terrifying, razor-sharp mandibles, they are greedily devouring his baguette. More stream in along pheromone trails. These dark world bugs are abnormal. Their jaws easily slice through the rock-hard bread, kicking up fine crumbs. He shouts at the tiny thieves to get away from his precious meal. This is his only food, and he has not even had a single bite. Watching it rapidly disappear makes him furious, but he cannot just smash them barehanded. Their sharp mandibles act like tiny scythes, and his skin is softer than the bread. A single bite would shred his flesh in seconds, so he scrambles around for a tool. Finding nothing, he watches his food disappear and remembers his new skill. The skill clicks back into his mind. How could he forget? He can tame any creature. Well, hopefully, since ants have small brains and weak souls, they are the perfect test. And his own spiritual power cannot possibly be weaker than theirs. Perfect for testing, the ants gnawing his bread suddenly look completely adorable. Total disgust to pure adoration. In an instant, dozens crawl all over his food. He picks the happiest-looking one and triggers the Eye of Taming for the first time. A faint glow, a tiny purple light, flickers inside his left eye. The ant freezes mid-bite as a mental connection suddenly clicks open between them. He commands it to perform a few simple movements, and it obeys flawlessly. Controlling such a brainless creature carries zero burden, none at all. So he sweeps his gaze across the rest of the swarm, one by one. They freeze completely solid on the spot, exactly as if someone had slammed a pause button. Dozens drop, not one remains, but then a sudden pressure hits his mind. A soft weight, it feels like a protective ceiling in his brain. A strict limit, even with weak ants, a control cap definitely exists. The cap must scale with his spiritual power. To control stronger beasts, he must grow. He needs to keep an eye on the trade channel for any boosts. He pauses. After a quick moment of contemplation, he takes immediate action. He orders all 63 ants off his baguette and into a line on the floor. The system handbook labels them as Black Scythe ants with no official rank. Scythe jaws, they possess incredible, terrifying bite force. Zero abilities, no rank, no skills, they are just incredibly weak. Sure, they are strong bugs, but they are still just ants, completely useless in combat. Easy to crush, but watch closely, his next move is pure madness. He stares directly at the fountain of mutation in the center of the shelter. A wild idea, this spring water triggers completely unpredictable mutations. High risk, but these ants are completely expendable anyway. If he uses enough of them, some are bound to mutate well. The rest are no loss anyway. The thought of super ants gets his blood pumping. No hesitation, Zhang Heng decides to take a massive gamble right now. He orders them to drink, and they march down the wall like a disciplined army. They swarm the spring and drink without a single moment of hesitation. Instantly, their bodies deform, some swelling like balloons before popping into bloody mush. 41 survive, 21 died, corpses are strewn everywhere. His stomach twists. This dangerous spring water cannot be used casually. The death rate is just too high, but his attention instantly snaps to the survivors. Most are horribly deformed with extra legs or missing mandibles. Their bloated bodies are impossible to drag. They are useless, failed scrap. A miracle, 8 specific survivors stand out from the rest. They are dozens of times larger than before, sporting massive 10-centimeter scythe-like jaws. Black iron rank, they are now Black Scythe Hunting Ants. Their jaws possess a terrifying 10-fold biting force. Pure jackpot, not only did they evolve, they jumped an entire rank. They literally jumped ranks. Even before this, their bite was insane. These guys chewed hard baguette before. Now, with 10-fold power, they are absolute monsters. With their crazy biting force, Riley half believes they could chew rocks, if anyone got caught. Between those mandibles, he would rather not picture it. These hunting ants are lethal. A threat to everything. At scale, even massive beasts would struggle. But there are only 8. The army dream waits. He has no idea where these Black Scythe ants actually came from. He must find their nest and capture their queen. Only then is the army possible. The hunting ants would gladly go nest hunting now, but it is night, and tunneling outside is too risky. It invites monsters. Day phase only then. Suddenly the 8 ants get restless. Riley follows their gaze to the corpses and deformed kin on the floor. They want to devour them. He was wondering how to dispose of this waste, so he lets them. They swarm instantly, eating everything, both the dead and living deformed kin. They eat until their bellies are round, and as they devour, the pressure in Riley's head eases. These hunting ants are no longer the same species as ordinary Black Scythe ants. That is why they devour their living kin without hesitation. From now on, any failed mutations can simply be fed straight to them. Riley recovers a lot of spiritual power and nods with satisfaction. He wonders if these hunting ants can mutate even further. If black iron is already this strong, silver will be a massive leap. He looks at them, and the 8 tremble visibly, stepping back instinctively, even though they cannot resist his absolute commands. Are you seriously taking a step back? Riley thinks. The seed of curiosity is planted, and there is no stopping him now, before he can press further. A system broadcast cuts in, world announcement, to better assist survivors and guide them in the right direction. A temporary mission is now issued. Temporary mission, upgrade shelter. Please upgrade your shelter to Level 2. Survivors ranking in the global top 10% for speed will receive a resource package, choosing from either a warmth, food, or tool package. Those ranking in the regional top 100 receive a skill selection package with quality scaling on rank. Right on cue, both channels go feral. Everyone wants all the free packages and top skill ranks immediately. Holy crap. Warmth, food, and tools, I want them all. Can I actually have all three? Someone splash water on him to wake him up. Skill selection packages. What skills? This sounds just like a game. This is not scientific, is it? If I can grab all of these, I will take off. Who is willing to trade resources with me? People are already listing wooden spears for 15 wood or 5 stones each, marketed as a perfect self-defense weapon for home and travel when monsters knock at the door. Desperate streamer is offering private video chats for just a little wood and stone, promising to comfort the customer's lonely heart. Someone is lending 50 wood and 20 stone at 10% daily interest, calling for serious borrowers. It is an absolute free-for-all, with everyone desperately trying their own tricks to upgrade fast. Every tactic comes out. Riley cannot afford to study the ants further. He can study ants anytime, but missing this temporary mission means losing these rewards forever. Even his well-stocked self drools at that package list. He yanks open the manual and jumps into the trade channel. The mission has world rewards and regional rewards. Top 10% globally is a breeze for him. He would have to be completely incompetent to miss it, since he already has abundant resources. Items. If he cannot make the top 10%, he might as well slam his head into a block of tofu and call it quits. Top 100 regionally means hitting the top 1% of 10,000. He is confident he will qualify, but his goal is much higher than that. The better his regional rank, the stronger his skill becomes. He wants first place or at least a top 3 or 5. Hopefully no crazy powerhouses live in his region. He opens up the trade channel and watches listings scroll past, each marked with an owner, trade terms, and a comment board. A basic wool sweater with no rank from Jang Depeo costs 50 wood or 10 stone. One buyer with only 15 wood begs for a discount, only to get called poor. A haggler suggests cheap online shopping, so Jang Depeo tells him to try the dark world to see if a courier actually delivers. Next, a sharp machete, black iron, rank 60 wood plus 5 stone. The items are incredibly random and heavily overpriced on day one, with resources running low. Sellers fight with cheapskates in the comment section because the goods took real physical labor. He gets it, but at these rates nothing sells. The market will eventually balance itself. This chaotic trade channel is giving him a massive headache, but thankfully a filter option exists. He searches specifically for containers and endless pages pop up, sorted only by post time with no pricing filter. Wooden bowls with no rank, 300 milliliters for 1 wood. Tiny wooden wine cups, 30 milliliters. Wood. Empty plastic water bottles, 500 milliliters, go for 2 wood. Wooden bucket has no rank, 2 liters for 5 wood or 1 stone. Carrying water is critical because clean water sources are useless without some way to transport them. The main factor is capacity, so he calculates the value based on cost. After scrolling 5 pages, almost nothing exceeds 1 single liter. Even those empty plastic bottles are considered pretty spacious in this market. Scanning the math, he figures his own buckets are worth 15 wood by volume, but nobody has that kind of wealth on day one. He needs fast trades for upgrade points, so he lists them at a steal, 12 wood or 2 stone per bucket. Mining tools are still very rare, meaning stone is worth far more, and he sets up his clever trade trap. He has 7 crafted buckets and posts them all. He can easily make more, so there is no reason to hoard them. He posts on the world channel, small wooden buckets with 10-liter capacity, 12 wood on the trade channel, highly limited. First come, first served. The local player response is instant. A 4-liter basin goes for 8 wood. What an absolute scam compared to this. Someone offers 2 stone since they cannot upgrade today anyway. Might as well trade for cheap goods. Boss Jiang Xuan is incredibly generous. Do not fight them. One scalper threatens to buy everything to resell, making others curse at the shameless beast. Scalping, even after transmigrating, is crazy. They warn others to bypass the greedy middlemen. He is not surprised they know his name, since the chat displays their real face and identity. The world channel only allows 3 daily messages, so he does not waste any more. Within 10 seconds, all 7 buckets sell out, sparking a massive wave of private requests. Among the messages, a survivor named Xinghai asks to purchase 5 sturdy buckets. After the temporary quest ends, he has no clue why she wants so many, but business is business, so he agrees. In total, the buckets sold for 60 wood and 4 stone. Adding his 12 starting wood, he is still 28 wood and 16 stone short of the upgrade. Wood is easy enough, but finding stone is the real issue. buckets are highly profitable. 3 wood sells for 4 times its worth, but 10 minutes of crafting per unit means he cannot easily brute force his way through. Seeing this massive demand, he wants to make 100 more right away, but every second counts in a. He knows a slow regional race and steady crafting won't get him first place. Sacrifices are needed. So he ditches that plan and starts listing items for sale. First up, a canned herring. He lists it for 10 wood. Since it's a specialty item, standard food just can't compare. Oreo herring is rare, and wealthy survivors have pretty weird tastes. He spots a disposable lighter, he keeps that, but the half-eaten baguette is listed for 3 wood. He can buy fresh bread later, keep the bronze axe, surprisingly both the herring and the half-eaten bread sell within just 60 seconds. Still, he is short 15 wood and 16 stone. Should he sell his hunting ants? Those black iron creatures are definitely valuable. But he only has 8, and too many mysteries remain for him to study. So selling them is a hard no. Wood is pretty easy to track down. But stone is nearly impossible to find. Time to save where possible and spend where necessary. He looks at his most prized possession, some mutated, highly valuable spring water, now at 93.8 milliliters. The ant trial used just 6.2 milliliters since they drink almost nothing. He carves 12 tiny wooden cups. Featuring custom grooves, he carefully pours 60 milliliters of the liquid, preparing to split it into 12 5-milliliter portions. He lists each for 13 wood or 2 pieces of stone, advertising these silver-tier items on the World Channel at massive discounts. They go incredibly fast. The global chat erupts in pure disbelief that someone possesses silver-rank goods, with players lamenting the massive gap before buying them up. This targeted spring water perfectly matches niche buyers. His clever trade trap steers everyone toward trading stone. Instantly, notifications chime, another transaction successful. Within 2 short minutes, 8 sales secure 16 stone, exactly what he needs for his next major shelter upgrade. Soon, the transaction pace begins to slow down. As initial curiosity fades and the ad is buried, he is just 15 wood away from his goal when Xingha sends a direct message out of nowhere. She asks if he will drop the price to 40 wood for the final 4 cups. The wealthy woman who previously pre-ordered 5 buckets is now snapping up these silver-rank resources, meaning she likely finished her own upgrade and possesses plenty of extra wood. Since they reside in completely different regions and her offer hits his minimum price, he skips haggling and accepts. Trade complete, 40 wood. Right as the deal closes, he accesses the interface and taps upgrade. All resource conditions met. Spend 100 wood and 20 stone. Confirm. The system begins processing the upgrade. His shelter successfully becomes a level 2 wooden house. Immediately, a regional broadcast triggers, ranking him in the top 10% globally. Choose a special resource package. Warmth, food, or tools, but a second, far sharper system alert pops up. He is the absolute first in the region to upgrade. His reward, a golden skill selection package of gold rank. He finally breathes a sigh of relief as the broadcast confirms his regional lead. Every loss is recouped with interest, and this legendary gold rank reward is incredibly generous. The world rank package can wait, so he inspects his golden skill card first. This palm-sized package contains a beautiful golden card with a glowing question mark on the front. This gold rank skill card randomly draws 3 powerful options, allowing him to choose just one. Of course, selection means a forced random pool, almost a scam, but there is no one to complain to. A gold tier choice is undeniably strong. He stops overthinking, shrugs, and activates the card immediately. The card rises into the air, spins for a few seconds, and splits into 3 golden cards with different patterns etched on them. The system asks him to choose one. Elemental affinity, water, gold rank, raises affinity with water elements by 100%, fully boosting water-based skill effects. Berserk, gold rank, on activation greatly raises attributes and significantly boosts recovery for 10 minutes, then enters a weakened state. Reusable after recovery. Species contract, gold rank, contracts a species and greatly enhances control over that species. These are hard-earned gold skills, so he reads each carefully. Water affinity is dead in the water, pun acknowledged without water-based skills, since he has only a sip of farmer's water. No telling when he would even pick up matching skills. Skip. Berserk is a clutch lifesaver and could counter-kill a stronger enemy at a critical moment, but the weakened state duration is unspecified, a day or 2 of Weakness in this dark world is a death sentence, and the risk is unacceptable. Species contract reads vague but matches what he already has, the term. Control is vague, but the side effects look minimal, and mutated spring water. Plus Eye of Taming pushes the beast tamer path. He also has a nagging suspicion. In this dark world, everyone gets various skills, resources, and items like in a game, but unlike the games he played, there are no fixed professions or fixed skills, and what each person picks up is random. This is a free world full of infinite possibilities, and everyone has to plan their own growth path. With limited resources, the worst sin is wanting everything. The three skills here clearly correspond to Mage, Warrior, and Beast Tamer. His core resources are most suitable for Beast Tamer. His head start owes more to luck than skill, and competition is light only because everyone is starting at zero. If he does not commit to a path now and waste the head start, he will be passed quickly. He picks Species Contract and silently commits to Beast Tamer. The cards vanish and the system asks for the contract. Subject: the only creature he has tamed is the Black Scythe Hunting Ant, so he names it. Selected contracted species ants. Successfully established a species contract with the ant tribe group. The contracted species cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. The skill description never said that. Talk about a total scam. His dream was to be a dragon knight. What the hell are ants? He is on the verge of tears, feeling like the sky is falling. 3 minutes later, he sighs helplessly and accepts reality. He only has ants right now anyway. Ants are cheap and easy to acquire and pair beautifully with mutated spring water, and maybe one day they mutate into giant flying fire-breathing ants, if he cannot be a dragon knight. Ant Knight will do. He looks at the new skill, Species Contract Ants. Gold rank greatly enhances control over ant tribe creatures. Vague again, a gold skill cannot be too weak, right? He looks at a hunting ant to test, and the readout expands far beyond before. Black Scythe Hunting Ant, Black Iron Rank, Swift action with mandibles of powerful destructive force, potential silver. Rank, type combat ability, tenfold bite force, current mutation evolution. Success rate 11%, feeding flesh type material increases the rate. It is highly likely to evolve into a combat type with a very small chance of mutating into other species. This skill isn't about raw combat power but structured growth. It tracks potential, growth rates, and key resources. Without that crucial data, cultivating these ants would be a total guessing game, but now he breeds them with absolute precision. Totally worth it. He opens a resource package and compares 3 options against current trade market prices. He chooses warmth. He remembers the warnings about monthly disasters. With the worsening cold, a freeze is almost certainly coming, meaning warm gear will skyrocket in price. He can always buy food and water later. Inside, he finds a cotton suit and a heavy quilt, which is a massive win. He puts on the gear and feels his freezing limbs finally thaw. Instant relief. He might actually sleep better. Tonight, he inspects his upgraded level 2 wooden house. To upgrade it to level 3 takes 500 wood, 100 stone, and all facilities. The floor space is now 20 square meters, 4 times larger, with sturdy wooden walls that won't blow away in a storm, giving him some real peace of mind. He unlocks new blueprints, including a storage cabinet for 30 wood. To keep food fresh, there is also a solid wooden bed for 50 wood. To boost rest, a dual-use stove costs 30 stone to light up his dark shelter and double as a cookfare. All 3 are essential. Food is incredibly scarce, making the food cabinet a massive priority. Last night he slept on the freezing dirt. A real wooden bed changes everything. The stove will keep the darkness away while providing hot meals in this freezing weather, a total lifesaver for his body and mind. These costs are pretty low, but the next level upgrade is incredibly brutal and demands every single facility. First, other survivors without lucky chests might struggle for 10 or 15 days, and even for him it is quite tough. Luckily, he has a solid crafting skill to rely on. After upgrading, he still has spare wood, so he continues crafting buckets while checking the chat channel. Everyone is extremely jealous of the 5th place player who scored a silver skill. Major props to that guy. He wants a skill too and wonders if he should go all out. Can he still hit the regional top 100? Hesitation is deadly. Commit and push through. The chat is full of colorful characters, and the mood is a mix of pure adrenaline and desperate bravado as the mission winds down. Some are checking if they can liquidate their best gear for just a few resources. Others are mass-producing basic items and selling them for tiny Margins just to survive. A few are even trash-talking everyone who hasn't qualified yet, putting on a brave face to hide their sheer panic. The skill. Rewards are weighing heavily on everyone. 5th place getting a silver skill means that top-tier players likely secured gold skills, and the true global elites probably got even higher ranks. He purchases some cheap rye bread for 5 wood and eats while he works. His hands keep building buckets as his mind plans the next phase. Food is priority. Since his land is barren, he relies entirely on trading. But the extreme cold could easily freeze market supply, which would be lethal. Stable food source is an absolute must. Next up is growth. To command more ants, he needs items that boost spiritual power, or his insect army will quickly hit its limit. Judging by the trials, different insect species will mutate along distinct paths, some for fighting, others for building or transport. Diversification is key. He needs more species. Local ants are scarce, so a trade channel by order is his play. He also keeps a sharp eye out for any spiritual power skills. An hour later, 6 more buckets sit beside him as the temporary mission winds down. He looks at the bigger picture. Each region holds 10,000 people out of 8 billion. This means over 800,000 regions. The regional top 100 slots are completely filled. The global top 10% still has open spots for those who have yet to upgrade, but very few will manage that today. Less than a tenth of the transmigrants reached level 2 on day 1. Truly lucky people are always a minority. His expression darkens. He keeps crafting, but that chilling reality of 8 billion souls dropped into 10,000 person cells with thatched walls and a single fire. They were told to survive, and on this very first night, the death toll is already in the hundreds of thousands. He holds 3 lucky chests nobody else could open, but he cannot afford to get comfortable. He needs buckets, food, and spiritual power. Preparing for the freezing cold, advancing his cultivation. Every single detail is critical, and the night is too short to handle it all. Suddenly, his private message blinks. It is Chungha again, asking if he has any buckets available for trade. Her steady buying habits finally catch his attention. He looks at her avatar. Beautiful girl with a gentle, oval face. Since these dark world avatars cannot be filtered or beautified, her face is real, and even he, who is usually face blind, has to admit she is gorgeous, but he has no impure thoughts. He focuses entirely on her wallet and quietly decides to mark up his prices. With her elegant look and temperament, she must be wealthy and not short on cash. If she could read his mind right now, she would be speechless. He confirms he has buckets and asks how many. She says 5 and asks if he still has mutated spring water. He has 33.8 milliliters left from his original stash, but his spring produces 100 milliliters daily that his ants barely touch. He tells her he can sell 20 milliliters, but wants rare resources in return. She should have some elsewhere in this massive dark world. A tree so massive that 10 people would struggle to encircle it holds a wooden house on its trunk. Other survivors would be stunned by the engineering. Chungha is the owner, and she frowns at his message. How did he know? Well, she did buy too many tools from him when the temporary mission first started. At that point, only people with zero hope of finishing, or with overflowing resources, could afford to buy tools. She fell into the latter category, and she is not against his offer. Since the missions have ended, rare items are highly valuable. Again, she replies, no problem, take a look at these items. First, multi-ear winter wheat seeds, black iron rank, with 100 times the normal yield. An incredible cold resistance. Then, she offers a bronze-grade ripening potion, which accelerates growth. Lower quality crops will benefit the most from. Finally, a silver rank, 2-color goji berry slightly enhances physique and increases resistance. His eyes light up. The seeds and potion solve his food problem completely. A plot of multi-year winter wheat means he will never face food shortages. The goji berry is even better, especially since there are no hospitals here, making even a cold fatal. A permanent physique and resistance boost is invaluable. He keeps his reply casual, only asking how she wants to trade. Chingan knows exactly how valuable these items are at this stage of the world and smiles at his poker face. She offers 100 multi-year winter wheat seeds, 3 bottles of ripening potion, 1 2-color goji berry in exchange for 20 milliliters of mutated spring water and 5 buckets. What does he think? He freezes for a moment, not because the price is low, but because it is high, far above expectations. By his own reckoning, 30 seeds plus 1 bottle of potion plus the Goji Berry would already have been a good trade. She is generous to the point of strange. He had intended to fleece her, and now he is almost embarrassed. That is the power of a rich woman, and he almost loses the will to grind. Willpower. Wins, he pushes back, saying it is too much and his goods are not worth that. She replies. Quietly, the direct math is uneven, but she values his development potential. Long-term cooperation then, they are far apart and she has no recourse if he takes the trade and ghosts her, so paying extra on a possibility is a confidence move. Sensing his pause, she adds that his regional rank in this temporary mission cannot be low. His mutated spring water as a silver-rank sustainable resource matters greatly to her. She is willing to take a certain risk. Cooperation is mutual, and he also needs things she has, and the dark world's danger far exceeds what either of them imagines, so partners survive better. Long-term is the framing. She's right that the spring water is what really matters, and the cooperation framing follows. His own preference is to specialize in one path and concentrate resources in that direction, like classes in a game, where combat, recon, support, and logistics combine to outperform generalists. The risk is that specializing creates weaknesses, and entrusting safety to a stranger is a death sentence. This is not a game. He has only set his own career path. If her toolkit complements his long-term works, he asks if she has other advantages to offer for mutual benefit. Because once his food is self-sufficient, those items go down in value. She is not annoyed and answers confidently. All her items, skills, and resources are plant-related, giving her a unique advantage in cultivating plants. The multi-year winter wheat is her own breed with astonishing yield. As long as he keeps trading her spring water, she keeps cultivating mutated plants, and she will give him first dibs. Without plant specialization, he would burn resources for poor results. Once he has used spring water himself, he knows exactly what she means, that harmful mutations dominate beneficial ones. Cooperation is full win-win, so she is also a path-committed survivor, just on plants. Smart people abound. He is not the only one to commit early. With her continually breeding mutated plants for him, the partnership is real. He drops the hesitation and agrees. With mutual wishes of success, they complete the trade. Then he asks casually why she started buying from him at the start of the temporary mission instead of selling for upgrade points. She replies, oh, she had already upgraded her shelter to level 2 during the day, so the mission was completed instantly when it dropped. Done during the day, he freezes in place in a distant corner of the dark world. Chinga chuckles softly, having anticipated exactly this reaction, and tells herself that showing a little strength helps cooperation. After the trade, he is near broke, so he crafts buckets all night. It's a 16-hour grind, and sleeping through it all feels like a complete waste, so 7 hours must do. Her offhand reveal still bugs him. He knew some top players would level fast, but daytime upgrading is sheer insanity. His mind cannot process it. Just felling a single tree takes him 8 long minutes, so her speed is unreal. Could she actually be a delicate-looking girl who swings a massive, heavy axe? He is incredibly glad they are in different regions, or he would be fighting for second place. Second place, he imagines a muscle-bound giant swinging twin axes through the woods, only for the hulking figure to turn around and reveal Chinga's face. He shivers, snapping out. His day's time check, 8 hours of unconscious sleep just vanished. What was he thinking? Her plant-based skill explains everything. That muscular fantasy was just pure exhaustion. He has been pushing his mental and physical strength to the absolute breaking point. Still, he pushes through one last wooden bucket before finally stopping to look at his massive pile. Those 8 hours of labor were brutal. His hands are incredibly stiff from the repetition. Buckets that once took 10 minutes now take 20 as exhaustion sets in. He has crafted 39 buckets. With a traded one, he has exactly 40 total. Keeping 10, he trades the rest away for a massive 180 wood and 30 stone. Talk about rich. He checks the upgrade facilities: storage cabinet, wooden bed, and stove. Only cost 80 wood and 30 stone. Since they are inevitable, he builds all 3. The finished items go exactly where he wants, placing the stove in the center, his wooden bed nearby, and the storage cabinet far from the heat to preserve food. He tosses the cotton quilt onto his bed. The stove radiates a cozy, warm energy. And with the soft blanket and comfortable bed, his heavy eyelids start to droop. Yet he forces himself to open the trading screen again. Time to manage those seeds. Xinghao traded them earlier, and he can't go to sleep just yet. 10 minutes of browsing the trading market reveals exactly what he needs: a black iron rank nursery. Spanning 2 by 2 meters, boosting growth by 10%. Listed by Thompson for 60 wood, this growth-boosting nursery is basically hard currency. Night is totally unknown territory, so planting food outside is out of the question. This indoor setup is mandatory. 60 wood is steep, but his crafting marathon paid off. Still, he refuses to pay full price for his hard-earned resources, opting to haggle instead. He haggles. The foreign name would have ruined his chances, but the system translation saves him. He makes an opening offer of 55 wood. Thompson swears to God it is worth it, promising it grows delicious vegetables. He counters that right after the mission, everyone spent their wood on upgrades, leaving few buyers. The seller concedes to 56, refusing to drop any further, since he needs to plant and sleep. He accepts the deal, placing the new nursery right near his door. This allows the daytime sun to reach the soil through the open curtains. Each layer features a soil tray and half a meter of headroom. It cannot grow tall plants, but it is enough. He sows the 100 winter wheat seeds evenly, dripping ripening potion on each seed following the instructions. He uses exactly 1 bottle. Finally, he waters everything using 3 wood worth of fresh river water. Suddenly, those seeds sprout right out of the soil within a minute. This speed is absolutely unscientific. At this rate, harvest is only days away. Clearly, this dark world has supernatural items bypass traditional science. He orders his 8 hunting ants onto the nursery to loosen the soil without hurting the seedlings. He throws firewood in the stove, collapses on bed, and wraps up tight. He passes out cold. Suddenly, a dark world system announcement wakes him. Congratulations, survivors. You have successfully survived another night. Natural disaster warning is coming. He rubs his sticky eyes, slowly waking up. The panel reads daytime remaining 7 hours, 29 minutes, and 12 seconds. He jolts. Did he actually oversleep and waste half an hour of precious daytime? He checks the chat and realizes he did not oversleep. The daytime was simply reduced from 8 hours to 7.5. Day is shorter before he can react. The warning continues. A cold wave is coming. In 7 days, an extreme low temperature wave will bring freezing weather to the entire continent. Survivors must collect winter food quickly and try their best to survive this brutal disaster. Now he is wide awake. This cold wave is exactly what they feared. The falling temperatures hinted at it, and many survivors expected this. But nobody expected only 7 days. Now watch. Once the freezing weather hits and the outdoor temperature crashes, exploring becomes impossible. That means within those 7 days, he needs a month of food, firewood, and heavy winter gear, fit for the extreme cold, all carefully stockpiled inside his shelter. Even at his level, the pressure is real and the clock is ticking. It is far worse for survivors in level 1 huts with crumbling walls. He once thought this world was safe. How wrong he was. The regional survivor counter reads 9,531. Only day 2 and so many are already gone. It is terrifying. Every single life represented by those numbers. The chat is full of absolute panic about the threat. People are starving, struggling to get today's meal, let alone a whole month of supplies. Some hope the cold has easier, earlier stages. Others advise staying calm, hoping the freeze rolls in gradually instead of hitting hard on day 1. In these 7 days, they must frantically upgrade to level 2 or even 3, or food alone won't save them from freezing. No time to argue. Everyone is frantically chopping wood with newly acquired axes. Speeding up the process, some are selling bulk river water for 3 wood per liter. Others trade flint at 10 wood each. Before prices spike, others trade cotton scraps for makeshift insulation at 2 wood a bundle. With only 10 left, he closes the channel before the mass panic drags him down. Opening his trade channel, he lists 1 milliliter of mutated spring water for 10,000 wood. It is just a clever billboard listed at the very top of high traffic listings with a note attached. He is buying ant species, specifically queens, in exchange for resources or items. Without a queen, his ant colony cannot grow. He messages Chuang, asking her to keep an eye out since she works the soil. She might find a colony. With that done, he prepares to head out. Walking past his nursery, he checks the wheat. It is already heading, just hours until it will be ripe. His thinking was too limited. In this world, anything is Possible after warming up, he takes several hunting ants and steps outside. Brightness hits him. It is slightly colder than yesterday, but otherwise nothing else has changed. He sets the hunting ants down and orders them to find their queen and bring her back. Since they evolved from Black Scythe ants, they can read the old pheromones. This gives them a real shot at finding the queen while he explores the area. Finding a chest would be huge profit, and even without one, he gets some scouting done. After a bit of quick recon, it is back to chopping trees as he heads east. 10 minutes into his trek, he stops with a deep frown. He should have reached the dark border by now, yet the bright forest keeps going. Could reaching level 2 have expanded his territory? The public channel has no info on this. He sends a quick message to Changhe, who has already agreed to help him find ants. She says level 2 expands his territory to 500 meters. But dangerous mutated beasts will now spawn nearby, and they are incredibly tough to handle. He is warned not to explore without weapons, so he stops. New territory means chests are out there, but those mutated beasts are a massive risk. Even a normal beast could take him out right now, so patience is key. He decides to gather resources and upgrade some of his hunting ants to silver first. With his plan set, he retreats to the quiet safety of the birch grove. Most saplings are gone, leaving only the thickest trees that require real effort. They require more work but yield more wood. Thanks to his bronze axe, he manages to chop a massive pile over 2 hours. Just as he gets ready to craft buckets, a sudden contract ping makes him turn. The lead hunting ant is carrying a massive queen ant, while the others herd the rest. They march over 100 Black Scythe ants forward, like captured prisoners. Seeing this brings a huge smile to his face. His hunting ants completely cleared the nest. They actually brought the queen, solving his ant population issue in one move. Dropping his axe, he runs over and immediately activates the purple light in his left eye. His Eye of Taming hits the Black Scythe ant queen, who currently holds no rank. She has silver potential, but her current mutation rate is 48%. Feeding her flesh-type materials will steadily push that percentage even higher. She will likely stay reproductive, though there is a small chance she mutates into something else. The instant he tames the queen, the hundreds of scythe ants behind her freeze in place. All their commotion stops instantly, and a massive realization hits him right then. Taming the leader means he now commands this entire colony without any extra effort. This is massive, drastically cutting down the drain on his spiritual power. While one ant takes very little energy, controlling hundreds after they evolve adds up fast. But by simply controlling the queen, he can run the entire nest. He could manage millions of ants this way. Imagine having a loyal army that massive. His gaze on the queen grows intense, since she is far too critical to lose. That 48% rate is decent, but he needs to make it safer. Fortunately, his species contract gives him a solid, reliable way to push those numbers up. He dumps his 41 units of wood aside to focus entirely on the queen. The sooner she mutates, the sooner she can start breeding his unstoppable ant army. He immediately pulls up the trade channel and filters the listings for beast flesh. Since it is daytime, there are only a dozen pages of listings available. He skips all the low-grade flesh, focusing strictly on black iron rank and above. Scanning the listings, only a few candidates remain, and one stands out: mutated rabbit meat. Black iron rank listed by Will Porter at 20 wood per gin. There is also mutated wild boar meat bronze grade from that same owner at 40 wood per gin, one seller. Trading at scale, which means high combat power, valuable intel, and negotiable bulk prices. Counting his freshly chopped 41, he has 98 wood total, more than enough. He messages Will, offering to buy 1 gin of mutated rabbit meat and 1 gin of mutated wild boar meat, then asks if the price can go lower. It takes 5 minutes for Will to reply, stating that looking at the trade channel proves the current price is already very favorable. True, but few people can afford meat. Right now, and his listings have sat there, Zhang Haiyan highlights his long-term demand for high-quality meat and proposes a partnership. Far away, in a distant corner of this dark world, a shirtless, nearly 2-meter-tall white man rests his blood-dripping, long-handled axe and frowns down at his system manual. After contemplating for a moment, he replies, expressing some interest in long-term cooperation, noting that anyone who can afford this much meat must be a strong individual. He cannot lower the price further, but offers small bonus gift, sending info on mutated rabbit blood at black iron rank and bronze grade mutated wild boar blood, apparently Apparently, beast blood raises mutation success rates, acting as a nice discount. Jang Hyun agrees, trading 60 wood for 1 jin of each meat and the 2 bottles of blood. Then he asks another question. Since Will can hunt so many mutated beasts, he must know plenty about them. He asks him to share, ready to pay because knowing about mutated beasts is absolutely crucial, and luckily, Will replies almost instantly, saying it is no problem since he was an experienced hunter back on Blue Star. But these creatures on the Dark Continent, compared to back home, have grown significantly larger and are far more violent and savage with completely altered appearances. For instance, the mutated rabbit is 80 centimeters long and has grown a pair of sharp fangs. The moment it spotted him, it charged right in with bloodshot eyes. He warns Jang Hyun that if he lacks combat skills, he should never provoke them. They have already surpassed ordinary wild animals, with Chang Ha's earlier warning still ringing. His caution doubles. He thanks Will, noting mutated beasts have territory and do not usually wander, meaning as long as he stays away from new ground, there is little danger for now. Putting down the manual, he retrieves the mutated rabbit and wild boar meat. Both are bright red, beautifully marbled, fresh, smelling strongly of fresh blood. 2 days in this world feel like a month without meat, and his mouth waters thinking of roasting them on the stove, but he pushes the craving aside and orders the queen to eat the rabbit meat first. She crawls over, opening her scythe-like mandibles to devour it ravenously. Her progress rate ticks up, passing 49%. Black iron flesh on a no-rank queen is a massive booster. If black iron works this fast, what will bronze do? Will bronze meat instantly hit 100%? Now watch. Without hesitation, he feeds her bronze boar flesh, watching the rate climb fast to 65% before stalling. For an ordinary ant, 65% is amazing, but a queen gets no second chance. Only 100% is truly safe. He looks closely at her bulging, growing abdomen. She is several times bigger now, lying beside the boar meat, too full to move. She just ate way too much. Gave him a scare though. He laughs at himself, ordering her to digest, keep eating, and goes back to chopping wood nearby. Half an hour later, he checks on her. Mutation rate at 100%, incredibly fast. He brings her to mutated spring water for a drink. Her body is already several times bigger than a normal black scythe ant. 1 giant gulp takes a full milliliter before she stops under his watchful, nervous gaze. Her body expands. The mutation finishes. Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen. Black Iron rank, Silver potential. Reproductive type, rapid reproduction ability. Her current mutation evolution success rate is 11%, with the same flesh-feeding scaling as before. Quality jumps from nothing to black iron, gaining rapid reproduction. Best of all, she now breeds black iron hunters directly. This means he never has to waste precious spring water on individual ant cultivation as long as he keeps her fed. They already have combat power. The numbers bottleneck. Problem solved, let me tell you. Once their numbers swell, hunting mutated beasts is finally on the table. The ant army he envisioned is becoming real, but the queen cannot do it alone. He gathers his 8 existing hunting ants, drops some mutated beast meat nearby, letting them feed alongside her to raise their mutation rates, then pairs them up for breeding. Watching her bulging belly, he laughs. Food, drink, and a harem. She lives much better than him. She must breed him a legendary army. Leaving them, he grabs his bronze axe and heads out again. Reaching the birch grove, a private message pops up. He opens it. It is Chungho again. Jang Hyun, she writes, I found an ant. See if it is useful to you. Without waiting for a reply, she sends over the ants details. It is a century ant queen, no grade, with 3 pairs of compound eyes, lightning fast movement, and skilled in reconnaissance. The queen of a scouting colony is the exact missing link his plan needed. Carnivorous ants under the Black Scythe Hunter Queen for combat, plant eaters under this century queen for scouting, sharing 1 massive nest once he finds a colony nucleus. He is absolutely beaming with joy. He just secured a Black Scythe Queen, and now this pure double happiness. He tells her it is incredibly useful, asking what resources he can trade. She replies that she found the queen while loosening soil for her crops, requiring 0 effort. It is free since they are allies. He pushes back, refusing to just accept it. A small favor to her is huge to him. Xian then asks if he would watch for plant seeds, saying she has to get back to work now. She trades him a wooden bottle. Inside is the century ant queen and over 20 century ants, 3 pairs of compound Eyes long antennae and dark green helmet-shaped heads, all peeking around. Like tiny sentries on watch, this ally is too reliable. He owes her a real favor. Now seeds, he will look. Purple light flickers in his left eye and she falls under. His control without resistance. Century Ant Queen, no grade with bronze potential. Reproductive type, her current mutation evolution success rate is 67%. Feeding plant materials raises the rate, highly likely to evolve into a reproductive type with small chances otherwise, his species contract gives him. These are readings Chungha cannot see. Bronze potential is a lower ceiling than the Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen's silver, which is mildly disappointing. Different species, different growth potentials, but the century ant feeds on plants and the rate is already at 67, so this food path is far cheaper compared to the Black Scythe Hunting Ant, which eats meat. This option is brutally cost-effective. And these are scouts, which for him may be more useful than combat ants. The Century Ant Queen with her 4 eyes, antennae, and round belly looks at him. And he nods, satisfied. Plant matter from any old grass works, but growth rate caps if the plants are ordinary. For that, he needs the plant expert. He shamelessly messages Shanghe again, asking if she has high-quality plant materials that are plentiful and filling. She is busy and replies in 3 minutes, asking what kind, food or otherwise. Any plant, he tells her. Wood or leaves does not have to be food. She says. How about some sandalwood wudang wood? Bronze grade, talk about asking the right person. He tells her this is great and asks how she wants to trade, requesting she not give it for free again. Otherwise, next time he will be too embarrassed to ask. She smiles too. Herself, small things reveal character, and although he has what she needs, if he were too greedy, she would only offer limited cooperation. Only with acceptable character does she treat him as a long-term ally. She replies fairly. Although bronze grade, it is still wood with limited uses, so 1 unit of sandalwood wudang for 5 units of regular wood. He takes it without haggling. He places the wood beside the new Century Ant Queen and 10 of her century ants, and they start gnawing. The rate climbs fast. 5 minutes later, all 11 hit 100%, and he brings them to the spring water. The Century Ant Queen mutates faster than the Black Scythe Ant Queen. 1 minute and she is done. The 10 ordinary century ants finish even quicker. Century Ant Queen, black iron. Rank, potential bronze grade. Type, reproductive. Ability, rapid reproduction. Current mutation evolution success rate 10%. Plant materials raise the rate. Likely reproductive evolution. Century ant, black iron. Rank, potential bronze grade. Type, reconnaissance. Ability, basic agility. Current mutation evolution success rate 10%. Plant materials raise the rate. Likely reconnaissance evolution. Unlike the Black Scythe ants, who jumped dozens of times in size, the Century Ant Queen only got a few sizes bigger, and the workers are unchanged. The queen has rapid reproduction like the other queen, and the workers picked up basic agility. Compared to tenfold bite force, basic agility sounds boring until he actually lets one loose. It crosses the shelter in seconds. Faster than he can walk. For that body size, the speed is incredible. If basic is this fast, what about intermediate or advanced? With this speed plus reconnaissance, his recon efficiency multiplies several times once numbers grow, allowing him to stay home while ants scout the perimeter. He treats the Century Ant Queen and her harem the way he did the hunting ants. He drops the sandalwood beside them and lets them feed and breed simultaneously. After the century ants are settled, he decides to take another stroll for chests within 300 meters. The 300 to 500 ring stays off limits per wills and shown as warnings. Half an hour later, he has nothing. Either he picked the area clean already, or his luck is dry. Today, as he reaches the easternmost 300 mark to turn back, he freezes. A small tree under 2 meters tall stands ahead, laden with a dozen fist-sized red fruits, lush and tempting. Beneath it sits a wooden treasure chest, the catch. It is roughly 360 meters out, inside the mutated beast band, charge or cower. His mind locks, a massive standoff between caution and greed. A cold gust slices his cheeks, brutal. He has been cycling between busywork and chopping in a padded jacket, barely even feeling the chill, but the moment he stops, the heavy cold lands hard. His interface panel shows it is already below 0. Yesterday was 5 degrees. The wind clears his head. Less than 7 days to the freezing wave. Resources are nowhere near enough. Hesitation ruins his day 1 lead. Decision made. Go 60 meters there and back, plus grabbing the chest. 3 minutes total. no rushing. And yet, he finds a tall tree with good visibility and climbs. From the high vantage, he scans the area for 10 long minutes. Will describe mutated beasts as massive. In a small area cannot hide one. Seeing nothing big, he climbs down, relieved. Grabs his bronze axe and steps into the unknown zone, per the community consensus. Within 300 meters, resources are basic: wood, stone, and water if you are lucky. Move beyond that line and resources are much richer, with naturally growing black iron and bronze items, but the danger climbs sharply. First time entering, and he is definitely nervous. The 60 meters takes nearly 2 minutes with no incident. He reaches the small tree and starts picking, stuffing 6 red fruits into his unbuttoned collar before. His clothes bulge to capacity. He does not push his luck. The tree remains. Right hand still gripping the axe, he scoops the wooden chest with his left arm and turns to run. The closer he gets to the 300 mark, the more he relaxes, daydreaming about the chest. Then, did you hear that? A rustling behind him. It sounds like wind on a completely still evening, yet he does not feel any actual breeze hitting his skin. The realization hits him, and his battle reflexes kick in. He drops the chest instantly, swinging the axe. A dark shape leaps. He blocks on reflex with both hands, a heavy clash. Force surges up the handle, pushing him back 5 steps before steadying. The attacker recoils too, a squirrel, but standing 50 centimeters tall on its hind legs. It has sharp fangs and red eyes blazing with bloodlust, not timid. Mutated squirrel, black iron rank, stealth ability. It hides its presence and tracks perfectly, so this is a mutated beast. Matching Will's exact description. Despite his caution, a stealthy enemy slipped past his scan from a nearby tree. He cannot outrun it on this rough terrain. That safe zone label was just a name he made up, and only fools trust it. Fortunately, it is just a single squirrel, and he has a weapon ready. The beast pounces again instantly, no preparation time. He counts down, 3, 2, 1, estimating its leaps and bounds. At the peak of its leap, he swings the axe down with both hands toward its neck, pressing the blade down as if driving it into the ground. It cannot redirect midair. Blade closes in, no escape. The beast lashes out with razor-sharp claws, ripping 2 long gashes through his chest, shredding the cotton padding. Blade lands. The beast rolls, wounded but alive. He does not stop to think, step in. He swings again, blood splatters, and the creature goes still as he gasps for air. His heart hammers, adrenaline masked it, but as soon as the fight ends, a wave of exhaustion hits. He is incredibly sore from his very first life or death struggle. The exhaustion makes sense, but he cannot linger. That fresh blood might attract dangerous monsters. More brutal beasts. He lifts the squirrel onto the chest and tucks both under his arm, and stumbles back toward his shelter. Only when the wooden walls come into view does he finally breathe a sigh of relief, the heavy loot putting a grin on his face. He locks the door, sits down, and sorts. This mutated squirrel is truly massive. Normal ones weigh under a pound, but this beast is easily 6 pounds. After some basic skinning and boning the beast, he gets 3 portions of gene meat and 1 squirrel hide plus 200 milliliters of blood. That is worth 80 units of wood right there. A few minutes of fighting earned him a fortune. Hunting clearly beats chopping wood. But he quickly shakes off those dreams. The danger here is on a whole new level. One clean fight guarantees nothing. These mutated monsters could easily carry deadly pathogens. A scratch on the neck could be fatal. Now, as for the squirrel harvest, the meat is tonight's dinner. He feeds the blood to his hunting ants as a bonus, and saves the hide to make a scarf. Next, he cracks open that black iron chest. Inside is some rye bread, a comfortable pillow, and a third item, another blueprint. He never expected a blueprint from a basic chest. The bread and pillow were already great. But this third item is an absolute jackpot. It is a familiar cowhide scroll. He recognizes it instantly, a black iron rank wooden fence with sharp, pointed tops. Designed to snag any clumsy climbers right where it hurts, it encloses his shelter, significantly dropping the chances of those dark world monsters paying a visit. Crafting costs 1 unit of wood and takes 3 minutes per piece. Perfect safety is the ultimate currency, and wood is his most plentiful resource. Right now his buckets are selling well, but soon everyone will have them. Once that happens, the market value will crash. He cannot afford to trade rare materials. So he needed a new way to earn. Fortunately, the system answered his prayers. He learns the blueprint immediately, but holds off on actually crafting the fences. Instead, he lays out his 6 red heart fruits. they are a bronze-grade resource. That permanently boosts his physical stats and rapidly repairs any damaged muscles. A permanent stat boost and instant healing, no wonder they are heart-shaped. After a grueling day of hard labor and surviving a literal life or death match, his muscles are screaming in pain. The timing could not be any better. He wipes one on his sleeve and takes a bite. Sweet, rich juice floods his mouth, his body devouring it before his mind can even register the taste. Only 3 tiny seeds remain. For a bronze-grade item, the taste is incredible, beating anything he has ever eaten. Suddenly, a warm current flows through his veins, and all his aches melt away. Within 10 minutes, he feels completely refreshed, his muscle fibers feeling stronger than ever. He wants to eat another immediately but forces himself to stop. These are best used right after a brutal workout. To repair torn muscles, having only 6, eating them casually would be a waste. He wonders if Chingha can cultivate them in bulk. That would be an absolute jackpot. He actually feels a strange sense of excitement about surviving in this dark world. It is dangerous but full of potential. He quickly drops a message to. He shares the info, asking if she can grow it. She replies almost. Instantly, she is excited. Bronze-grade recovery buff, she can cultivate, but the higher the rarity, the lower the success rate. So she needs more seeds and ideally a branch from the mother tree. She is a true plant fanatic. No wonder she chose this path, he tells her. He found it in the newly unlocked area, where 10 fruits still hang. But after bleeding near a mutated squirrel earlier, he cannot go back. Today, she is instantly alarmed. She asks if he fought a mutated creature. She warns him to treat any injuries, but he assures her he is fine. Good, she says, the dark world is harsh and she lacks healing plants. By the way squirrels hoard things, that den must have a food stash. Scout. When safe, he was so busy running, he forgot squirrel habits. Without her reminder, he would have missed it. He thanks her, asking her to try growing them. He trades 3 red heart fruit seeds and 1 fruit. Refusing any resources in return, she gave him century ants for free, and this evens things out. On her end, Chingha looks at the heart-shaped fruit with a wry smile. She decides she needs to hunt down ant-related items now, or she will keep owing him favors, and noting she should ask Bikian, who likely has the right intel. After their talk, 3.5 hours of daylight remain. Will he risk the new area? That mutated squirrel was a warning. Crossing paths with a carnivorous beast right now means instant death. He switches focus to base defenses. He makes 1 fence to gauge the size. Enclosing a decent area takes at least 100 fences and 5 hours of crafting, which is too steep. He scales to 30 or 40 fences for a smaller perimeter, finishable before dark, having 38 wood. On hand, he heads to the woodpile by the birch grove to craft. 2 hours later, energized by the red heart fruit's healing, he is full of energy and crafts nonstop. A pile of fences accumulates. He stands back, satisfied, carrying them to the shelter. He uses his bronze axe as both shovel and hammer to drive them into the frozen soil. The ground is rock hard from the freezing cold, making installation a brutal chore. By the time the fences are all up, night has fully fallen. Only 31 minutes of daylight remain. Outdoor temperatures hit -10, and shivering in sweat-soaked clothes is painfully cold. He ducks inside. Night is bearing down and he has drained his energy. The stove kindling has died, and as he reaches for fresh wood, he realizes he used every piece on the fences. Rather than panicking out in the cold, he scraps the black iron chest from earlier to get 5 wood. Storage box is fine. He throws a piece into the stove, lights it, and crafts more fences. He tests the market by listing 1 on the trade channel for 5 wood. Making 4 net wood in 3 minutes is far better than buckets, which require 10 wood for 10 minutes of work. He crafts 2 more fences, but the listing sits too pricey or a dead channel. He drops the price to 4 wood, and the fence sells instantly, with messages flooding in asking for more. He tells them to wait and keeps crafting. Earning 4 wood per fence at a 1 wood cost is incredible profit. It is much better than chopping wood directly. Night falls with howling winds. The sky is dark. Outside hits -14. Inside is barely 8 degrees. Over 16 hours of night remain, and the freezing cold is still dropping. Even with his upgraded stove, the indoor temperature will not cross 10 degrees. A few more days and his shelter might freeze. The cold wave has not even hit yet. The drop is brutal. Jang Hyan must rush level 3 before the winter kills him. He wanted to focus on combat upgrades first, but his plans had to change. Survival comes first. As he prepares to craft, he notices something weird. There is no world announcement today. That voice used to mark every passing day. The silence on day 2 feels deeply unsettling, without daily settlement rewards. And with no temporary missions, survival is now the only motivator. Sure enough, the global chat is already in a state of absolute panic. People are asking where their daily rewards are after working all day. They realize those bonus missions might have been a first-day luxury. Without them, standard woodcutting and digging will not save anyone from the cold. But some point out that hunting for hidden chests could still save them. Others argue that finding chests is rare, so hunting mutated beasts is better. Some suggest hunting mutated beasts, but veterans immediately call out the danger. One user warns everyone that they saw a mutated goat effortlessly snap a thick tree. No settlement rewards today. Still, yesterday's payouts pushed many to level 2. Jang Hyan closes his chat channel to focus on his own base. He checks his ant queens. The Black Scythe Hunter Queen is at 51%. But the Century Ant Queen has already rocketed all the way to 76%. Why is there such a massive gap when both eat the same food? It seems growth speed is inversely related to their potential growth limit. The Century Ant has a lower ceiling, so she levels up much faster. Their silver potential Black Scythe Queen takes more time, but has a higher ceiling. With 16 hours of darkness left, both queens could finish transforming tonight. He feeds them his remaining bronze boar meat to speed up the process. They devour food incredibly fast. Meanwhile, his winter wheat is growing insanely dense. The grain ears are pressing tight against each other, completely filling the trays. He expects 10 kilograms of harvest from just 100 seeds very soon. That ripening agent is incredibly potent, proving Ching is a master of agriculture. His food worries are finally fading. Just as he decides to ask for more, she pings. She asks if his ability is ant-related, sending over an item description. Jang Hyan scans the details, and his eyes instantly widen. It is an ant nest nucleus, a bronze-grade item for his colony. This boosts breeding speed by 20%, but raises food consumption by 30%. Over time, the colony ants will also gain permanent stat increases. Although it is called bronze grade, this thing is a god-tier artifact. It is the ultimate niche treasure, useless to others but overpowered for him. That explains why it was sitting, neglected, at the bottom of a chest. A 20% breeding speed increase is already an incredible boost. Generating extra ants every night without wasting precious resources is pure value. Once his queens reach bronze, these benefits will multiply exponentially. At first glance, high food consumption looks like a tax, but mutation success is actually fueled by eating, so a 30% food increase translates to a 30% mutation. Acceleration, even the slow attribute buff, is the kind of boost that quietly raises a colony over several days, half the items he rejected in the trading channels. Had weaker effects than this at 10 times the price, that 20% breeding. Speed compounds heavily in his favor since ants win by pure numbers, the 30% food. Consumption looks like a downside, but for him, it is a massive upside. Eating drives the mutation rate. More food means faster mutations, and that slow attribute buff is a bonus. He can barely keep a poker face while telling Xianghe how useful this is and offers to trade more spring water as extra compensation, since after a day he has another 100 milliliters accumulated and does not need it all. She replies that it is totally fine. She got it from an acquaintance who claimed ants were just too weak. Nobody ever used them, so the item sat at the bottom of the pile and went cheap. She even offers to introduce them if there is a chance. Xianghe is a bit erratic, but highly trustworthy. Hearing that ants are so looked down upon, he does not know whether to laugh or cry. It tracks, though. Even he, with all his relevant skills and items, has not produced anything visible from the ants yet. Plus, their food consumption has been incredibly heavy. Without those specialized skill items, would be absolute madmen to invest in ants. Better that everyone underestimates them. It makes scooping up ant-related items so much cheaper. Sensing his silence, Xianghe gently encourages him, saying this dark world holds infinite possibilities. She advises focusing resources on one path and persevering, no matter the path chosen. He tells her he is not giving up, feeling a premonition that an explosion of strength is near. He thanks her, starts the trade, and puts up 50 milliliters. of mutated spring water to receive the ant nest nucleus and 100 winter wheat seeds with 3 bottles of ripening agent. She protests that he is giving too much, but he insists. Tomorrow during the day, he will test out the squirrel den and the red heart fruit tree, promising to contact her once he has new plant seeds. Done, she says, agreeing she will keep an eye out for ant items. The trade leaves both of them much better off. She gets a reliable spring water pipeline for her plants, while he gets a steady food and seed pipeline, plus a niche item scout. Their favors will balance out over time. Cooperation in this dark world is incredibly hard to start because neither party has the reach to enforce any deal, so every transaction also doubles as a character probe. After 2 days of trading, his read on her is steady. Her read on him, judging by her continued generosity, seems just as solid. He looks closely at the nucleus. Rough black peach pit-sized and irregular. The description says to place it inside an ant nest, raising the question of where to build it. Underground is logical, but the outside is absolute monster country. Inside, his fenced shelter is much safer. He picks a spot right near the spring water source and tells his hunting ants and sentry ants to stop eating and dig a new nest. Sentry ants for speed hunting, ants for raw power. In under 10 minutes, a decent ant nest is dug. Better still, since both species are tamed by him, they share a single nest, which never happens in nature. Both groups benefit from the nucleus simultaneously, so he drops the nucleus inside and has them all move in. Their eating speeds instantly surge, and so do their mutation rates. The sentry ant queen, already progressing fast, looks like she will finish in minutes. However, he holds off on breeding the queens just yet because newborns inherit. Everything depends on queen quality. If she breeds at black iron, the new ants are black iron, and upgrading them later costs massive resources and precious spring water. If he pushes the queen to bronze first, her babies are born bronze. The sentry ant ceiling is bronze, so once she hits that rank, she breeds at full power. The Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen needs more thought if her growth rate stalls badly. After bronze, an early breeding wave might be necessary. After all, those sentry ants are scouts, not soldiers, and after that mutated squirrel, he wants some bodyguards. Suddenly, a signal pings through his species contract. The sentry ant queen and her 10 harem ants hit 100% simultaneously. He sends them to drink spring water. Bronze evolution looks harder than black iron, 5 to 10 minutes. But no fatalities. Sentry ant queen reaches bronze grade, breeding type potential. Bronze grade reaching its limit, which can be broken with special items or skills. Abilities include rapid reproduction and production expansion. Sentry ant, bronze grade. Reconnaissance type, potential bronze grade, reaching its limit but can be broken with special items or skills. Abilities are basic agility and beginner detection. The queen's abdomen has grown. 3 pairs of compound eyes have now become 4. The helmet is darker and shinier. Her antennae are longer. The workers are pinky finger size now. Neat little soldiers. Production expansion increases breeding quantity, stacking with rapid reproduction. Now the army builds fast. Beginner detection on the workers. Given how strong basic agility was, even beginner detection should be serious. Once sentry ants increase, every chest in his territory gets swept clean. He orders the queen and her harem into the nest to breed. Right as he settles them, the Black Scythe Hunting Ant signal pings. The hunter ant queen is also at 100%. Watch this. The Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen and her 8 hunting ants drink spring water and replicate the sentry ant's route, but their evolution takes a full 10 minutes for their larger bodies. When they emerge into bronze grade, he is stunned. The thumb-sized hunting ants have grown more than 10 times, fist-sized, with jet black carapace, looking ridiculously sturdy. Mandibles are longer than their bodies, like 2 massive scythes. One bite would shatter a leg, and he is glad they are his. The queen's body and abdomen grew several sizes, and her mandibles are smaller than the workers. This hunter ant queen also picked up production expansion. The workers picked up junior fortification. He taps a hunting ant's shell like solid metal. He steps on it lightly, no reaction. Defensive output combined with the scythe attacks at scale. Mutated beasts will not survive. Excited, he has the queen finish the rest of the boar meat to push towards silver. She inhales it. 3 tails gone in a few bites. Then he checks the rate, plus 1%. 3 tails of bronze meat is worth roughly 12 units of wood, meaning raising her 100% on bronze meat alone would cost 1,200 units of wood. The bronze to silver gap is Brutal, smiling bitterly, he accepts it. Take it slow. Bronze hunting ants are already. Enough, build a bronze hunting ant army first. Push the queen to silver later. He sends her into the nest to breed, too. They expand it before starting because the original is too small. Now onto logistics. Sentry ants eat plants, even wood, so the supply line is essentially the same as his fuel pile. Hunting ants eat meat, and he does not have much. Meat is also expensive on the channel, and meat is scarce since most survivors simply do not have the strength to hunt mutated beasts. The few who can, like Will, sell tiny portions. He throws the mutated squirrel meat he saved for himself straight into the ant nest for the hungry queen. His own dinner is just dry rye bread, choked down with plain water. He tells himself to endure. Once the ant army grows, there will be meat at every single meal. Through the nest entrance, he spots plump white eggs already. It lifts his mood, but the queen's food supply is dropping fast. No food means no eggs. He grabs some wood and starts crafting fences. 7 hours later, he collapses spread eagle on the bed. His physical limit was hit hours ago. A red heart fruit restored his muscles, but spiritual energy has no quick fix. That mental drain hurts far worse than simple soreness. He desperately needs items to restore his spirit. In 7 hours, he crafted 130 fences, nearly reaching his limit. Fences are highly popular, selling for 4 wood each and netting 3 wood in profit over the base cost. That is 390 wood total, but the food is gone, so he messages Will asking if he has meat. Meanwhile, in a dark wooden cabin adorned with thick hides, a burly 2-meter man with long golden hair and a bushy beard is busy tanning leather. He frowns as his inbox buzzes, finishes the task, and checks the message. It is the guy who always buys meat. Anyone buying meat now must be incredibly strong. Will likes capable customers. Will replies asking how much he wants. Our protagonist thought he was asleep and was searching elsewhere. He asks for 5 jin of bronze grade with a discount. 5 jin is a massive order. Will smiles and offers 5 jin of bronze grade for 190 woods, throwing in beast blood. Done deal. After the trade, Will immediately messages another contact. He tells Ryong-gu that he just traded for another 190 wood, enough to upgrade to level 3. It turns out Will is working with an ally pushing for the next shelter tier. Our hero does not see this, or he would be seriously shaken. People are already pushing for level 3 in tight alliances. He keeps grinding, barely overthinking. He throws the 5 jin into the nest, splits the sandalwood, and collapses. Some hours later, a loud broadcast cuts through the darkness. Dark world announcement: congratulations, survivors, you made it through another night. The deadly cold wave arrives in 6 days. A new temporary mission begins. Another event. He sits up quickly as the system voice continues. 3 temporary chests will spawn randomly in the bright zones of every survivor's shelter. Finding them rewards items, but once 5,000 are opened in the area, all rest disappear. The top 100 swiftest players by amount collected will win custom items based on their rankings. He quickly crunches the numbers. With 10,000 survivors and 3 chests each, there are 30,000 chests, but the cap is 5,000. That means less than 1 chest per player. Also, higher level shelters have larger illuminated areas, making chests much harder to find. Worse, level 2 shelters are packed with mutated beasts, spiking the danger and difficulty. Low-level players might actually have an advantage here. Naturally, chat goes feral. Some celebrate making the top 100, while others regret upgrading last night. Is everyone messing with him? Don't panic. By day 3, almost everyone has upgraded. If only he did not lack resources, the top 100 would be his. These chests are rare. They are hard to find, but lessons were learned. Mutated beasts are deadly, and many will die in this mission. Some just want to chop trees and steal his rewards. Absolutely shameless. So many competitive players are still in the channel. More than he thought, maybe 1,000 or 800 of them per region. Speed is everything now, but he does not panic. He has specialists on his side. Walking to the nest entrance, he peers down into pitch black darkness. No way to count them. The hunting ants have dug much deeper overnight. He orders the queens to bring everyone up. Sentry ants begin streaming out, about 150. By his rough count, these small insects are numerous, while the hunting ants are large and few, which makes perfect sense. The queens signal him through their contract: more eggs and weaker young ants are still in the nest, needing a few hours to mature. He leaves the queens to tend to the nursery, and heads out with his workers. Outside, it is freezing. The moment he steps out, he shivers violently. He quickly tightens his coat, rubs his hands and stomps his feet before checking the system panel. Weather light snow. Outdoor is -9.5. Indoor is 14.2. Time is ticking down. The shelter delay cost him half an hour, leaving him with exactly 7 hours. Snowflakes the size of 50-cent coins drift down. Soon a thick layer will blanket everything, making chests even harder to find. Checking the chat, he sees snow is falling everywhere, which levels the playing field. Fortunately, the sentry ants end. Hunting ants do not mind the cold. He splits the sentry ants into 8 squads of 20, sending them in all directions: east, south, west, north, northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest. Their mission is to sweep for chests and report mutated beasts. Hunting chests is priority number 1, while their secondary task is gathering intel on nearby mutated beasts. After their black iron evolution, they could easily keep pace with his walk. After upgrading to bronze, they match his running speed. The 8 squads vanish in seconds. 23 bronze hunting ants cluster around him. Fist-sized and intimidating, they are a massive comfort. If he meets another mutated squirrel today, he won't have to lift a finger. He doesn't know how many beasts are out there, so he waits for the sentry ants to report back before visiting the red heart fruit tree. Then he sends the hunting ants out with orders to follow the sentries and bring back any chests. As an afterthought, he keeps 2 hunting ants close by to serve as his bodyguards. After that mutated squirrel incident, he goes nowhere outside without backup. He heads back inside to harvest his wheat. Outside, the heavy snow is already muffling the sound of his footsteps, making the world feel incredibly small. The multi-year winter wheat ripened overnight, shining golden across the trays. He tries using the bronze axe, but the tight space and tough stalks stop him. The weapon is too heavy and clumsy. Should he buy scissors or a sickle? As he ponders this, a young scythe hunting ant peeps out, showing off sharp mandibles. How could he forget? With a quick command to the queen, 13 young hunting ants emerge, climb the trays, and harvest the wheat like tiny machines. In under 3 minutes, they finish. He takes out the 100 seeds Chun-Ha sent, preparing to sell when a sudden thump outside triggers his ant alarms. Here we go. Chests have arrived. Rushing outside, he spots 2 walking chests sprinting across the snow. Carried by the hunting ants, they locate 2 chests in barely 12 minutes. The ants drop the chests at his feet without ceremony, then turn right back around to assist the sentry ants. No rest needed, just a brief flash of gratitude. Ants do not comprehend gratitude, but the species contract they share flares with a quiet sense of acknowledgement, and that is enough. Even with double or triple the time, finding a single chest alone would be a massive struggle, pure professionalism. The first is black iron, the second bronze. These temporary chests share the exact same drop tables and visuals as normal ones. He quickly cracks them open. The black iron chest yields long cotton socks, a bottle of water, and a black iron pickaxe. The bronze offers white bread, a black iron machete, 666 cold granules, and a bronze grade blueprint. Every single item is highly useful. Cotton socks for the freezing cold, a bottle, black iron pickaxe to finally start mining stone, and soft white bread that actually tastes like food instead of brick-hard rye, plus a sharp black iron machete for cutting down monsters instead of a clumsy axe. Those 66 cold granules are life-saving for the upcoming wave. Even back on Blue Star, a cold could get ugly, but out here without medicine it is fatal. But this blueprint, a total shocker. A quick hemostatic bandage, bronze grade, to stop bleeding instantly. The crafting recipe calls for plant fiber, adhesive, and coagulation serum. Even back on Earth, blood loss remains a top killer, and here it is certain death. Crafting these bandages means holding hard currency, but the materials are tricky. Only plant fiber is easy to find. Adhesive and coagulation serum will require some digging. He decides to ask Chun-Han and will later or check the trade channel. He learns the blueprint, carries the supplies inside, and gets 10 hunting ants to loosen up the soil, sow the seeds, and shell the harvested wheat. They have 0 complex emotions and incredible stamina. If they did, they would probably curse him as a ruthless capitalist. 10 adult and 13 young hunting ants finish the entire job in under 10 minutes. Talk about extreme efficiency. The wheat totals roughly 10 kilograms, matching his estimate. He sacks it in an empty bucket. Now get this, a brilliant idea strikes him. If he rents These hunting ants to other players, will they still obey? Does the contract require close physical proximity? If they obey from a distance, he can start a labor dispatch service. Using his hunting ants for farming, harvesting, or scouting, it offers way better profit margins than selling fences, with zero risk of competitors undercutting him. Since nobody else has tamed these beasts, Chiunga alone would be a major customer. After all, his multi-year winter wheat seeds came from her, and he has no clue how much land she has actually planted, if her fields are anything like his. Harvesting by hand would consume her entire day for weeks. He needs to test the contract limits when there is time, but it is a brilliant backup plan. 10 kilograms of wheat can feed him for over a month, but he is not living alone. The entire ant army needs to eat too. With the cold wave looming, stockpiling food is his absolute priority. And his insect numbers must be managed, especially the meat-eating hunting ants. He caps the hunting ants at 50 for now, only replacing losses. The century ants are plant-based, so he caps them at 1,000. Expanding his territory will bring more recon work. That ceiling for century ants can go up as his shelter level unlocks more space, but the hunting ant population must stay low until he secures a steady meat supply. Beyond what the hunter queen needs for her own breeding, with a stable food source, the ant army can grow without collapsing. The basic principle is the same for him: keep it specialized, avoid bloating, and never overgrow. Beyond what the local food chain supports, another dozen minutes slip away. The third chest is still missing, and his anxiety rises while he keeps waiting. He crafts fences to stay busy. 20 minutes later, the century ant's signal pings and he leaps up, but the very next signal freezes his smile. A mutated beast is spotted right near the last chest. He grabs his machete, takes 10 adult hunting ants, and dashes southeast. After 5 quick minutes, he stops 400 meters from his shelter. 40 century ants are scattered nearby. Without his unique ant sense, they would be invisible. The remaining 13 hunting ants are close by too. Since breeding them is expensive, seeing 0 losses is a relief. Just 50 meters ahead is an earthen mound over 6 meters tall, with a 2-meter cave entrance. Carved right into the center, a massive mutated wild boar sleeps peacefully at the mouth. The last treasure chest is tucked under its head like a pillow, a bronze-grade beast. Its abilities are a heavy charge, thick skin, and hard flesh. Lying down it stands. A meter tall, fully upright, it is 1.5 meters high, weighing 300 kilograms. With 30-centimeter razor tusks, both abilities are clearly brutal to handle. Hunting ants can take down small mutated beasts, but this armored beast is another story. Even if he wins, he will lose too many ants, but the chest is right underneath it. He sends a message to Will, hoping for advice since Will sells this type of meat. But there is no reply, as Will is likely busy with his own urgent quest. He has to think for himself. Killing it is not the goal, the chest is. Hunting ants can deal damage, but they are too slow. Sentry ants are fast, numerous, and easily replaceable, but can they actually anger and lure a wild boar? Their tiny stings might not even break that thick skin enough to register, and the beast might just ignore them, but they can swarm into nostrils, ears, and eyes where thick skin does not protect it. Even a massive monster can be driven crazy by enough bites in tender places. He has to try. He orders 40 sentry ants to swarm the beast, while 10 hunting ants hide in a tree nearby. Once the boar leaves, they will grab the chest. He leaves the area fast. He is too big a target to stand there, and a charge would mean instant death. As he clears 100 meters, a roar erupts behind him, shaking the ground. Talk about a perfect plan. Half the battle is simply provoking it. The rest is luring it far enough to steal the chest. He jogs back to the shelter. It is so cold that limbs stiffen within minutes, and only inside does he finally thaw out. He keeps crafting fences to stay busy. 1, 2, 3, and the hunting ant's signal finally pings. He rushes outside. An ant is crawling over the snow, carrying the chest. He takes it immediately. A temporary black iron chest, disappointing in quality, but the rank is determined. By count and speed, he pops it open and 3 items spill out before he can even look. A familiar system broadcast suddenly cuts in. Congratulations, Survivor, for finding 3 temporary chests in 49 minutes and 53 seconds. The chest scramble mission is complete, and his count and speed rank first in the entire area. His reward is a self-selected gold rank item, a tiny golden chest drops into his hand. So far, he has only found a few silver tier items. Each was insanely strong, so gold must be completely broken. he gets ready to open it. Suddenly, the system broadcast blares. The total temporary chests collected here has hit 5,000. All remaining uncollected chests in this zone have instantly vanished. The mission is officially over. He just secured his third chest before the sudden end. This means not a single other survivor in his region could find 3 chests. Were they really that difficult? For higher-level survivors with larger territories, maybe. But level 1 players with small 300-meter boundaries and 0 threats should have managed. They are simply too weak. Fortunately for his sentry ants, this task was effortless. Without that massive wild boar delaying them, they would have wrapped up in 20 minutes. He dominated the race entirely, leaving everyone else eating his dust. Now, global chat is losing it. Everyone is crying about the sudden end, complaining they only managed to find a single chest. The hiding spots were devious. One was on a roof, another buried deep in the dirt. Many thought this was a freebie event, but ended up empty-handed after a full hour. They swear nobody found all 3, even making ridiculous bets if anyone actually pulled it off. The chests were in terrible spots, and the heavy snow completely obscured them. While other players searched with their eyes, his loyal sentry ants did not. No matter how well hidden, if it was within his territory, they easily located it. Without those ants, he would have missed the top 100 entirely, let alone secured first place. The chat feeds keep rolling, with everyone insisting that getting 3 chests was absolute fantasy. With only 1 hour total, they argue that nobody could possibly possess that kind of luck. He ignores their loud denials, choosing to keep his legendary results entirely to himself. Remaining a secret champion is his preferred strategy. There is no need to show off. The nail that stands out gets hammered down, so he lets his insects take silent credit. They secure his victories in the shadows, keeping his dangerous edge sharp for the next round. He looks at his loyal squad with gratitude, but sudden grief quickly takes over. Of the 10 hunters and 40 workers sent to bait the boar, only 12 returned. 28 are dead, and the surviving ones are severely battered and broken. They are missing antennae and dragging fractured legs, yet they obeyed without hesitation. They belonged to him, and they paid with their lives to bring him this victory. Seeing his faithful soldiers limping back in this terrible state cuts deep. He was the one who chose this dangerous path, but they are the ones bleeding for it. That wild boar will not live to see another sunset. He sentences it in absolute silence. Turning to his rewards, he finds a bottle of water, raw iron, and knitted gloves. Slipping the gloves on, healing warmth floods his hands. He takes a long drink of water. Picking up the metal, he heads inside with his injured army to warm up and open his gold box. He desperately needs offensive combat power. The encounter with the boar proved he is still vulnerable. As shelter levels rise, mutated beasts get worse, making territory crossings unavoidable. He has to gain personal strength, because his ants have hard limits without major upgrades. Taking a deep breath, he unseals the legendary gold gift box, praying for a massive boost. A blinding gold flash erupts as 3 rare items float before him, spinning slowly. First is a gold-tier pursuit longbow, giving his arrows 10% homing guidance. Second is a gold-tier telescope, piercing darkness to observe environments. Beyond 500 meters, finally, a gold-tier gene manipulator to extract DNA fragments from biological flesh and splice them into other organisms. Every option has bizarre characteristics. The pursuit longbow makes any novice deadly at archery. What man doesn't dream of perfect aim, but he has no arrows, and a physical weapon requires raw strength he simply lacks. Skip detection. Telescopes are excellent, but his recon is handled by sentry ants who do not need sight. Once mapped, he can send them past 500 meters anyway, and he is never going to step into that dark world himself anyway. Skip. That leaves the gene manipulator. It extracts and implants genes. He immediately sees incredible uses. Branching out in every direction, mutating beast genes into hunting ants. Creates much larger, stronger units. Putting avian genes into sentry ants creates flying scouts. To scale walls and treetops that nothing on the ground can reach. Boar, tiger, brown bear genes into hunting ants for raw power. Aquatic genes into sentry ants for water scouting whenever rivers block the way. Spider venom genes into sentry ant queens if he can figure out the implantation order. Combined with ant reproduction, the upside is immeasurable if 100 queens breed hunting ants, and he fuses genes right off the production line. His army specialization can be customized per ant instead of per species. He chooses The gene manipulator, the three orbs vanish, and a microscope-like instrument. He takes Will's bottle of mutated wild boar blood and figures out the operation in just a few minutes. The interface is simple. Place flesh on the platform and it automatically extracts gene fragments based on the quality of the donor material. One bottle of boar blood yields 5 gene fragments. Then place the target creature on the platform to implant. He selects a hunting ant. 5 minutes in, its body twists violently and he feels a signal. Energy surges everywhere. The panel displays Black Scythe Hunting Ant, bronze-grade mutated wild boar gene fusion in progress, requiring intake of flesh or plants to complete fusion. The fusion gave it omnivore traits, letting it eat plants now. He does not have meat ready, so he sends it outside to graze. It charges a small white birch tree, opens its mandibles, and devours the entire tree in 10 minutes. The ant then transforms drastically, fist-sized to small piglet size, hundreds of times bigger with thick bristles all over. No one would call this an ant. Half-meter scythe mandibles, absolutely ferocious. This gene manipulator straight up upgrades his ants. The updated panel reads Black Scythe Hunting Ant, bronze grade, fused genes. Mutated wild boar, currently 0 gene fusions possible. He can fuse another upon reaching silver rank, so below bronze, ants fuse 1 gene, but after silver they can fuse 2. Silver is a massive strength leap, pushing the hunter queen to silver. Becomes more urgent. A survival manual notification pings. Will asks how to kill a mutated wild boar, wondering if he encountered one. He warns that he never confronts them head-on, using poisoned arrows to wear them down. If he had picked the pursuit longbow, that path would have been his, but now he has a better option. The gene-fused hunting ant. Pound for pound, these ants are nearly invincible. Just to be safe, he fuses more. Half an hour later, 20 gene-modified hunting ants stand in front of him. They are too big for his shelter, so he plans to dig an outdoor nest later. But first, the boar. He never lets a grudge sleep overnight when power allows. Killing that beast gets revenge for the 28 ants it crushed, plus several 100 pounds of meat and gene fragments for more hunting ant upgrades. He has plenty of bulk food for the hunter queen, bridging the gap between bronze tier and the core food bonus that could instantly push her to 100% silver. At silver grade, she will breed silver tier hunting ants directly, raising his entire combat ceiling. Now even silver mutated beasts seem survivable. Killing the boar tonight is more than just sweet revenge, it is the next gate. He takes the 20 hunting ants and heads to the beast's lair, 460 meters from his shelter. In a cave, the mutated wild boar is gnawing on a sweet potato, absolutely furious after being woken up by ants and chasing them down to crush them. Grumpy as ever, it continues chewing. Suddenly, it spots dark figures creeping closer. Mutated boars have terrible eyesight, but interrupting its meal is more than enough. Eyes burning red, it snorts and charges. The arriving party is 20 modified hunting ants. The boar only squeals a few times before being literally torn to shreds. Only a pool of blood and shredded flesh remains. He watches from 100 meters away. He was worried about losing ants, but the boar vanished in a flash. These are not mere insects, they are biological war machines, bringing him instant relief. Yesterday he was crawling away from a mutated squirrel that ripped right through his backpack and jacket. Today, 20 modified hunting ants reduce a 300-kilogram bronze beast to pure pulp in seconds. His entire chance of survival has completely transformed in just 2 days, and the engine of that shift is the Eye of Taming, the species contract, the mutated spring water, and now the gene manipulator stacking together. None of these alone would matter. Together, they shift the scale. This 300-kilogram carcass will surely draw night monsters, so he decides to butcher it on the spot instead of dragging it back. Even at half yield, that is 300 jin of bronze boar meat. Meat prices have dropped as more hunters kill beasts, but this high-grade meat is still worth 30 wood per jin. 300 jin equals 9,000 wood, with other materials. Killing a single boar yields roughly 10,000 wood. The 20 hunting ants act as professional butchers, finishing in minutes. But wait, his smile quickly fades. The yield is completely wrong. Where did the rest go? He has only 30 jin of meat, 1 jin of blood, and 1 hide, a pair of 30-centimeter dagger-like tusks, and 20-some jin of organ meat. All of this weighs well under 100 jin. The other 500 is missing. He digs through the remaining offal with his black iron machete and finds a red, walnut-sized orb, a beast. Core of bronze grade, containing the condensed life essence of a mutated creature. Only high-tier beasts generate these, so that is where the missing weight went. It became this core. No wonder meat prices are sky-high. There is barely any meat on these monsters anyway. That 10,000 wood jackpot was just a dream. But these scraps are still worth at least 1,000 wood, more than enough to upgrade his shelter to level 3. The beast core itself is a bronze sustainable item, and even though he does not yet know what to do with it, anything holding this much compressed energy is worth keeping. He should not sell it, especially while his hunter queen is still climbing toward silver grade. Those 30-centimeter boar tusks can easily be sharpened into daggers or traded away. The heavy hide is perfect winter gear. The offal goes straight to the hunter queen as breeding food. The 30 jin of meat he keeps partly for himself and partly to feed the next hatchlings. Absolutely nothing is wasted. Upgrading to level 3 requires 500 wood and 100 stone. He currently has only 200 wood, leaving him 300 wood and 100 stone short. Fortunately, his newly found pickaxes will make. With rare pick blueprints found by survivors, stone mining has scaled up. The exchange rate for wood to stone has dropped to about 1 to 2. Bronze meat goes for about 30 wood per jin, so 20 jin easily covers the cost. He is also running low on meat though, and he won't sell unless he absolutely has to. With plenty of daylight left, he explores his territory first to cover deficits later. If needed, he can sell meat at night. For now, his hunting ants carry the boar harvest. They even pack the awful scraps in a bucket, since the hunter queen eats anything fleshy. Doing this saves valuable resources. An hour later, accompanied by his sentry ants, he has completely swept the entire 500-meter ring with very explicit orders. They must find mutated beasts and unusual plants. Soon, 4 black iron rabbits appear. The combat squad dispatches them instantly, yielding 25 jin of black iron rabbit meat. They also collect 2 jin of blood and 4 hides. Black iron beasts do not drop beast cores, which means the meat yield is much higher. These 4 rabbits roughly equal a wild boar in total meat. The sentry ants also locate sweet potato sprouts near the old lair of the boar. They are fully mature, totaling 20 jin and carried back. Next, he has the sentry ants thoroughly sweep the squirrel area, checking 7 different burrows to harvest 15 jin of nuts and seeds. He also picks 8 red heart fruits and breaks off a branch from the mother tree for Chun-Ha before messaging her. Chun-Ha replies instantly. Turns out she really needs these items. She asks if his shelter has upgraded to level 3 yet. He is still short of resources. Instead of replying with words, she simply opens a trade window and lists 300 units of wood. He stares at the screen in pure shock. Talk about a massive gift. She must already have a level 3 shelter with a very comfortable surplus. Her message follows up with a careful warning. After reaching level 3, his territory will expand to a massive 2,000-meter radius where silver beasts might appear. Unlike others, they are highly independent and will not stay in one place. Their strength is far above bronze mutated beasts. She heavily stresses that warning. The fact that they do not stay in one place is what really matters, since bronze beasts had static territories he could map and avoid. Silver beasts roam, meaning a safe path yesterday could become a death zone tonight. Now that is a terrifying upgrade. Going from 500 meters to 2,000 meters jumps his land from 78 hectares to roughly 1,250 hectares. That is over 15 times the previous area. Controlling this scale requires either a massive army of sentry ants or much smarter pathing. Suddenly, the production expansion of the sentry ant queen becomes critical. Roaming silver beasts inside that massive zone are incredibly dangerous. They pose the exact same threat as the bronze boar did in his smaller territory. These monsters never stay put, making territory borders constantly moving targets. His hunting ants are only bronze with 1 fused gene. He does not know if they can stand against silver. This safety information is vital. Thankfully, he has some solid countermeasures. Sentry ant border patrols will provide early warning at the edge of his territory, while a chain of sentry ants along the perimeter can scout and flee if they detect silver. Once his hunter queen upgrades to silver, she can breed silver hunting ants directly. This completely bypasses the massive resource drain of upgrading bronze ants. One by one, combining early warnings with a silver army gives him a highly defensible posture against any roaming threat. Even before he has hunted his first silver mutated beast, he thanks her, closes the manual and tells the hunting ants to chop trees. He wanted them to chop earlier, but they were too small and inefficient after the Borgian fusion. The problem is gone, curious how many trees they take down in the remaining hours. He heads into the shelter and dumps the boar offal and rabbit meat into the Hunter Queen's nest to keep her rate climbing while he crafts fences. The new Hunter Queen rate with the nucleus is 30% food consumption boost stacked on top of organ-grade meat climbs visibly inside the manual panel. Every 10 minutes he peaks and the percentage has crawled another 2 or 3 points. Nucleus organ feed and a queen with potential ceiling at silver. Every input is now compounding. Meanwhile, in a corner of the dark world beneath a giant tree wide enough that more than a dozen people would need to encircle it, a 1,000 square meter field stretches around the base. Half is golden multi-year winter wheat, fully mature but unharvested, simply left in the soil. Survivors elsewhere would vomit blood at the sight. The other half is strange-shaped plants, some barely recognizable, some wholly new species. Graceful figure bends over the soil, sowing seeds, hands and feet muddy and unbothered. Xiong-ha, she straightens after the bag empties and wipes her forehead with the back of her hand. She murmurs, few finally planted. Hope. Luck is better this time and more plants mutate. That way little green can collect more gene fragments and grow stronger. The giant tree's leaves rustle without wind answering her. She continues, do not worry, little green. I will work hard to collect different plants to help you reforge the glory of the Casimir world tree. She stumbles on the long name and the leaves rustle louder until she gets it right, then quieter and satisfied. A world tree. Indeed, like a childish ghost, she glances at the wheat field. With this much ripe wheat, harvesting it alone would burn an entire daytime, if little green could help her, but little green expends serious energy in active labor. Must conserve to guard against the silver black bear to the northwest. She returns to her shelter on a tree branch up to 30 meters above the ground. From a bronze chest she takes a golden scroll. Mutual aid contract, gold rank, select. Target, establish a mutual aid contract. Both parties cannot harm each other. With permission can teleport to the other shelter. Usage limit 5 times. Ally, she decides to think it over tonight before deciding. Daytime is precious, so she tucks the scroll away and starts compounding ripening agent at the work table. Her workbench sits beside a large window of polished wood, and the bottles of mutated plant extracts are arranged by hue and viscosity. Orange concentrates in the front for accelerators, pale green in the back for stabilizers, a few amber drops kept apart for the rare cross mutations she does not yet trust. Each bottle is labeled with a script she invented, pure inheritance from a botanist grandmother, she likes to say. While she works, the giant tree's leaves rustle softly above the field, almost like a long exhalation. Little green is content, she is content, the wheat will keep. The contract waits in the chest. By the time he surfaces from the focused crafting trance, fences pile up to his chest, and the poor shelter has run out. He finally steps away from his work, stretching his stiff arms and drinking some mineral water. Outside, darkness has settled much sooner than expected. The manual tells him 3 hours have already passed. He is amazed he worked straight through. Just 2 days ago, he could not even last 2 hours. Eating those red heart fruits has seriously toughened his muscles. Now, wood production is scaling up. With more wood available, survivor demand for safety fences has skyrocketed. Instead of dropping, prices have actually ticked up. He immediately lists his new fences on the trading channel. He sets the price at 6 wood each, then heads to the birch grove to check his hunting ants. But when he arrives, the birch grove is completely gone. Hundreds of white birch trees have vanished. Nothing remains but low stumps. The entire forest has been converted into logs in just 3 hours. He stares at the bare ground in pure disbelief, and honestly, wouldn't you be thrilled too? Over at the far edge of the open space, the hunting ants are still tirelessly working away. They chop trees, trim branches with scythes, and stack them up neatly. Hundreds of clean logs are piled up with the precision of master craftsmen. He only ordered them to chop. They did all the trimming and stacking on their own. Their stamina is practically limitless. In 3 hours, they gathered 2,029 units of wood. With this massive haul, he can upgrade 2 level 3 shelters right away. He no longer needs to sell meat, but this insane harvest is a one-time deal. His territory only had 1 dense forest, and his hunting ants have completely leveled it. The remaining trees are scattered far apart, totaling roughly 1,000 units of wood. Harvesting them is way too inconvenient. If only he could rent these ants out. Dispatching labor would make him rich in minutes, but first, a realistic question. Hauling 2,029 wood back would take up to 3 hours. He has under an hour of daylight left, meaning he cannot get it all back safely. But this is his territory. He is the only survivor here, so the wood is safe overnight. Even better, he can upgrade his shelter right here and skip the haul entirely. He opens the trade channel to find bulk stone. After browsing for a bit, he spots a seller. Sifting through, he finds a seller named Webtoon who listed 300 units. But his price is way too high, 2.5 wood per stone when the market is lower. The market is only 2.1. He messages him, asking for a lower price on a large quantity. In a dark corner of the world, inside a level 2 shelter, a disheveled young man freezes. The bearded fellow was busy banging on a stone axe when his system manual suddenly beeped. A big customer finally. He drops his axe, opens the manual, and tries to act calm. Webtoon asks how large. Someone earlier bought 10 stones and called that a massive order. He replies that he will take all 300 units of stone. Is that enough? Hearing this, the seller nearly bursts into tears with absolute excitement. He desperately needs wood. His shelter is located in a rocky region with almost no trees. His stone axe broke early, surviving only because a chest dropped a silver pickaxe. After digging up way too much stone, the overall market price began to drop. His high listing had been sitting there, waiting for some clueless buyer to bite. He spent nearly a full day with 0 messages, but now he finally has a customer. Telling himself to stay calm, he replies that his price is already the lowest. He claims stone is incredibly hard to collect, and he is the only one selling in bulk. That greedy overcharge makes our main character shake his head in disbelief. Offering 2.1 wood per stone, he adds he can just gather it tonight anyway. But Webtoon insists the night is dangerous, and every stone cost him hard physical labor. Squeezing blood, are those stones going to hatch Sun Wukong? He remains completely unmoved. The trader has to take the deal because he desperately needs wood. He cannot gamble on a bluff. Fine, brother, the seller relents, have it your way. Saying he is in too much of a rush, he sends a friend request. They trade 300 stones for 630 wood. He accepts the friend request. 1399 remains plus 300 stone, ready to upgrade. This leaves a buffer for facilities. Easy. He opens the manual to begin. Consume 500 wood and 100 stone to upgrade. He selects yes. As the upgrade begins, the wood and stone vanish from his inventory. The panel ticks down, and a small spinning indicator hovers in his mind. With the upgrade started, he looks back at his level 2 box from 100 meters. He braces himself to see whatever wild transformation the upgrade animation brings. The global chat is dead silent at this freezing hour. They huddle near campfires for the 17-hour dark. Cold air pricks his cheeks. Even with his winter gear, he shivers, pulling his collar tight as he walks. He steps closer to the build zone, watching for mutated monsters. He wants no surprises during construction. 5 minutes later, the base upgrade finishes. A level 3 exquisite house stands, the wait felt endless. His eyes never left the dark, terrifying boundary of his territory's edge. He kept expecting a silver mutated beast to crawl out. Catching him completely exposed with 0 defenses, he is still near the grove. With the trees entirely cleared, his view of the house is completely unobstructed. He watches the visual transition. A massive sphere of absolute darkness swallows the structure. When the black dome clears, the old 20 square meter shack is gone. An 80 square meter exquisite house with a reinforced stone foundation stands proud. Compared to his old cramped wooden box, this is a masterpiece of space and security. Raising a mansion in minutes is pure magic, and he has stopped questioning it. He just accepts the system logic. Now, look at these new buildable blueprints. Farmland costs 200 wood for 100 square meters of protected soil. A level 1 pen costs 200 wood and 50 stone for matching space. A monster immune pen for raising beasts safely. Finally, the level 1 workbench. Costing 100 wood and 50 stone, it boosts crafting speed and stamina. He realizes the farmland is a massive bargain compared to his old tiny nursery. Getting 100 square meters for only 200 wood is a great value. The pen is also highly necessary. His tamed hunting ants are multiplying fast. Letting them tunnel right under his foundation poses a severe collapse risk. As for the workbench, it operates like an ultimate booster for crafting. It slashes crafting times while saving precious stamina. he builds all three. This costs 500 wood and 100 stone, matching a full upgrade. Both farm and pen materialize outside, while the workbench is placed indoors. The farmland is neatly fenced off, while the smaller pen sits nearby. He commands his hunting ants to haul some firewood inside for the night. Then he heads inside. His old 20-square-meter shelter was incredibly cramped, packed tight with his stove, bed, storage chests, and plant nursery. But this massive 80-square-meter layout leaves plenty of room to spare. The shelter is suddenly spacious. Even the insulation is noticeably better. Just closing the door keeps the freezing chill out, even before lighting a fire. An upgraded level 3 home brings real comfort. He can finally relax. As long as the stove burns, the cold wave cannot touch him. Freezing temperatures and food are the major threats, but he is ready. Safe at last, he lights up the stove and considers dinner. His inventory is stacked: 20 jin of wheat, 9 red heart fruits, 30 jin of boar meat, 25 jin of rabbit meat, plus bread. The survival grind is officially over. Tonight, he is having barbecue. He has lived on dry rye bread, feeding all his meat to his ants. But he is no cheapskate. He wipes his black iron sword clean to prepare food. He chops thick slabs of boar and rabbit into cubes for skewers. After skewering the meat, he roasts them over the stove. Thick cuts take time. No rush, flipping slowly. Soon, a mouth-watering aroma fills the room. He gulps in anticipation, but wait, a real barbecue needs spices. Cumin and chili are crucial, but the trade market is empty. He posts on the global chat, anyone selling cumin or chili powder. He offers high prices, and believe me, the chat channel absolutely detonates. Everyone loses their minds. Why is boss Jang Hyan buying barbecue spices? They are struggling to find simple bread, while he has barbecue freedom. Desperate survivors beg for a single bite of meat, promising to do absolutely anything. Some offer their souls, but other players quickly shut them down. Soon his private inbox is flooded with freeloaders begging for scraps. He blocks all strangers. Jang Hyan sighs, immediately regretting the broadcast. With only 3 global messages daily, he just wasted one on cumin. He was way ahead of schedule, but a single mistake ruined his night. A careless mention of barbecue destroyed his quiet evening. Lesson learned. Never show off public luxury. Keep all future deals strictly private. Just as he closes his system manual, his friend Belle pings. It is Chunga, his longtime ally. She asks if he has water. She wants mutated spring water. Hearing this, his eyes instantly light up. As a plant specialist, she is his best bet for finding spices. He replies, "We will get to that. Do you have cumin or chili?" Chungao is stunned. Why is he suddenly asking for seasoning? Before she can even answer, he sends a trade offer containing hot, fresh barbecue. Her eyes widen at the golden, sizzling roasted meat skewers. She might study plants, but she is definitely not a vegetarian. The sight of meat makes her tear up. Yes, she replies, she has spices. With her wealth, she could buy meat, but her cooking is terrible. Her food is completely inedible, forcing her to survive on dry rations. Jang Hyan grins, offering to trade his juicy barbecue for her seasoning. She agrees instantly. They trade 2 boar skewers for her spices. He throws in 2 rabbit skewers for cumin, chili, and pepper powder. She cultivated this rare green pepper, which tastes like spicy mustard. With the delicious food in hand, she completely forgets her original deal. She completely forgets her purpose, sprinkling all 3 seasonings while oil drips down. She almost swallows her tongue while he finishes the rest, nodding in satisfaction. His cooking skills haven't declined since he started living alone after. His grandfather passed. Tonight he outdid himself thanks to pure ingredient quality. Bronze and black iron meats, paired with Chunga's mutated plant seasonings, create a flavor beating any barbecue he's ever made, better still after. Eating, a warm energy spreads through him, faintly boosting his physical strength. Ranked meats aren't just delicious, they provide solid physical buffs, and over time the cumulative boost will be massive, just like the red heart. Fruit, he is no hedonist, but if pleasure makes him stronger, hey, why hesitate? He commits to chasing ranked grains and meats, the red heart fruit. Already proved that eating rare materials can directly upgrade his body. Ranked meats clearly offer the same steady, incremental growth, if he stacks. Red heart fruit with ranked food daily, the cumulative buff over weeks will meaningfully raise his baseline. Survival is no longer just about fences and fires. It is about what he and his ants eat, directly pushing their combat ceiling higher. After finishing his barbecue, he walks straight over to the Springside ant nest. Though the pen is built, he has not moved the nest in the dark. The original is still here. He summons the Hunter Queen to check her panel. Her mutation success rate sits at 87%, boosted by flesh. Only 13% away from her silver tier reproductive evolution. She only gained 11% from regular meat, plus 20 gin of boar and rabbit organs from the cleanup. Those waste organs alone added 76%. He should have bought organs from the start, saving himself a fortune. But the trade channel is empty since most hunters just discard them. He pulls out 4 gin of boar meat to feed her. She trembles excitedly. Devouring it in 2 minutes, her evolution rate spikes to 100. Next up, spring water. She happily heads to the source, remembering the routine. She drinks 5 milliliters before stopping, taking more now that she is larger. Without gene fusion, she is only about 8 centimeters instead of half a meter. But as the water takes effect, her body begins to swell rapidly. Within 5 minutes, she grows 10 times larger, reaching 80 centimeters long. Her black abdomen now features mysterious, beautiful silver ring patterns. Her side mandibles are nearly gone, as a reproductive queen. Each evolution trades her offensive capabilities for reproductive power. While ordinary hunters grow sharper mandibles at Silver-Rank queens. Shed them entirely, now completely drained after evolving, he feeds her more. Boar meat which she instantly inhales, her panel updates to Silver-Rank. Her potential is capped at silver, but special items can break this. As a reproductive type, she gains rapid breeding abilities. Along with rapid development, she can still fuse genes twice. This new rapid development skill allows him to inject energy into newly hatched larvae, growing them instantly at double the energy cost. It is too expensive for daily use, but a massive lifesaver in a pinch. He can instantly spawn an entire army to counterattack threats. 2 gene fusions are on the queen now. He hasn't rushed her fusion because there is only one of her, requiring absolute caution. He has a vague theory. Fusing higher potential creature genes might raise her own ceiling. If she fuses with a gold creature gene, will she gain gold growth potential? The trade channel doesn't even list silver flesh, let alone gold. It remains pure theory. For now, as he ponders this, the queen finishes eating, rubbing her antennae toward him, making a soft rustling sound. The rhythm carries a strange meaning. That the species contract decodes directly inside his mind. Master, the meat, delicious. Well, if it is tasty, eat more. He replies on autopilot, offering plenty of meat, then suddenly freezes. He is alone in the shelter, so where did that voice come from? A chill strikes him. He looks around, no invaders, only the queen resting her massive abdomen on the floor, lifting her head to stare at him with 2 large black eyes. Quiet, that voice earlier was not human. It was a strange, rustling sound, but he understood its meaning instantly. Then realization hits. The only biological foreign language he can comprehend is the contracted ant dialect via their species contract. The queen rubs her antennae. Again rustling, master, confirmed. Until now, the ants, including the pre-silver Mo-Wu, only sent basic biological signals for him to decode. Now she transmits an emotionally textured statement with content. Previous ants were like mindless robots, only receiving commands and executing them strictly, never transmitting any messages with clear meaning or emotional shading. In this terrifying dark world, anything is possible, but the simplest explanation is that her silver evolution pushed her over the intelligence threshold. Silver is clearly a massive strength. An intelligence inflection point, not just a simple damage and durability bump. If silver mutated beasts roam level 3 territory with this level of intellect, the pressure becomes deeply real. Any leftover comfort from his recent upgrade. When warm meal evaporates, he sighs wryly. The dark world allows no rest. Still, a silver Hunter Queen is a serious upgrade. Once silver hunting ants breed and gene fuse with powerful beasts, silver mutated creatures might finally be matchable. The resource problem rises again. He thought he was set, but clearly he is not. He pushes the worry aside. You should have a name now, he tells her. She tilts her head. Name? Yes, a name. He rubs his chin, brainstorming. He immediately rules out Zio High. Little Black, which is too generic. After 2 minutes of brainstorming, his eyes light up. Ink-colored blade, silent moon slayer, the classic imagery of a